Hello,
Daniel Ira.
Kakiro.
How are you, Daniel Ira?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I'm running out of my M-gram, um, what's this called? Just titanium white? Oh, fast dry formula.
Yeah.
I'm running out of it, and but I already ordered a
Did you
couple. Yeah.
forgot the name? Because you always refer to
Um,
it as your
I always say
fast drying.
with dryers or something, but I never remember exactly how they promote it. Fast dry formula.
Mhm.
But I like this color, but I do run out of it like crazy. It's probably the one that I run out the most, uh, and it has to do, I guess, with how I paint. The fact that I'm just mid-tone heavy. I key my paintings sort of in the mid-range value,
Mhm.
um, and I because I use smaller palettes, I tend to use white quite a lot more than I guess other people would use it. So yeah, that coupled with having a raw surface that absorbs, you know, color like crazy, it makes me go through these quite a lot.
I
So
have
yeah,
to say, white is also the color I use the most.
it's
Always. I
probably
think it's like a common
yeah
color that
yeah. If you
people.
go through most people's palettes, that's the color that if people have like smaller tubes, they'll always have like a bigger tube of white.
Yeah. Oh, in my
Um,
case, if I'm using gouache,
yeah.
I use it like 10 times more.
Who
I don't know
knows?
why. Like when I paint with oils, I use it a lot,
Hmm.
but when I use gouache, I just like use it a lot,
10 times
lot,
more.
lot, lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense too. Gouache being like the fact that it's opaque, that the colors are opaque. The opaqueness of it just kind of makes you go towards the white so much more. I guess it has to do with living and painting daylight. I
Yeah.
guess
Hmm.
because I'm trying to think aside from the more obvious reason that people that I don't think it's a good reason, but people equate white pigment with lightening something.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so I think that that's fine, but that shouldn't be the only reason. I mean, it is our lightest light color. I mean, there's other colors that in terms of value would also be the lighter lights. Um, but it's the most common lightest light value hue, color, however you want to call it. I mean, I call it hue because I find differences in terms of color even in different whites. So I always think about it as a color. Um, but aside from us just equating it with lightening something, with making something lighter, which I don't think is great. I don't think it's if we exclusively think of the color as
Yeah.
something that lightens, I don't think it's good. Um, but aside from that, I guess we still have remnants of representational painting, which means that, when I say we, I think of like almost like the whole of painting. I know that there's a ton of painting that is not representational, but there's still a hell of a lot more painting that is spurred from nature than painting that isn't. So, um, so the fact that we paint from nature means that we probably wanted to paint light, or that we were acknowledging that we were painting light, and the fact that we would paint light, meaning sunlight, meaning light that was coming from the sun, uh, meant that we would be painting during the day, or reflections that were born from light that comes during the day, and I guess that means that we were using a lot more white. The
Hmm.
fact that colors had to be glazed, initially meant that we had to have a base of white also. So I guess technical things, but also the fact that we equate painting light with the light that comes from the sun. So maybe I was thinking, maybe if we were like a species that painted at night, white would be a very sort of sparse color that
Yeah,
we would
because I think
use.
that there's a lot of people that prioritize like super sharp shadows
Right.
in their paintings, and they don't find the use that we find in white. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like predominant in their paintings. So,
Right.
but what you're saying is right. I mean, I think the majority of the people do run out of white.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
It is super common to see people just having like huge tubes of white
Yeah.
all the time.
Which are never enough.
No. Even when they're painting, I mean, they could be painting indirectly, or they don't have to paint in surfaces like I do. It could be like a perfectly, primed surface, but still, we just go through white a lot. But I was trying to think about it. I was trying to sort of make sense, like, where does that come from? And
Wait.
I guess it's what happened?
No, el cablecito.
Ah, it's okay. Look, woohoo! It's okay. It's okay.
Pues sí, pero no lo
Um,
vamos a dañar.
No. It won't get ruined by doing that.
Well,
It won't. Yeah, but I was trying to think if there's like bigger reasons, and I guess like a technical reason is kind of simple, I guess. But also the fact that we live in daylight, and the majority of the paintings that we've done in representational painting, they are sort of daylight paintings, or the light source is always, if it's the sun, it's obvious, but the light source always seems to be quite light in terms of value, which makes you gravitate towards white. Again, that equation, light equals white, I don't like that. I don't think that that's a good thing to have in your brain. And I think all of us could benefit from taking white off your palette for like a month and just use whatever other colors that are lighter in your palette, and just make paintings understanding that light, or the notion of lighter, can come from other pigments in your palette. And I think that's a really good, healthy thing to do, so that we don't exclusively think of white as our light all the time. Or if we have to make something lighter, we just constantly go towards the white. So anyways,
was that a sneeze?
I think that was either a sneeze
Or
or somebody
woohoo?
yelling, or somebody asking for help, which I don't think so.
No,
I think it was just something,
sounds-
somebody
yeah.
being scandalous.
Chili's like
Yeah, she's like
scared.
She's
So
like, stranger, measure your what is it?
no, manage your vocals.
Manage
please.
your vocals, stranger.
I mean, we're on a live stream right now. So, ooh.
Oh, what's that?
So we have a regular that hadn't what's wrong with
Been
my
here?
been here before?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or for a while?
For let's say, I think since you
Been gone.
since you
Been
came back
gone.
from Menorca.
Uh-huh.
So we have Liad here. Hey,
Oh.
Liad, how are you?
Liad.
Have you been doing, Liad? We've missed you.
Yes, of course.
How's everything?
Hoping everything's good.
Camila Ogorman
Oh.
dice hi.
Hello, bonjour.
Hola Camila.
Ogorman.
¿Cómo está Camila? ¿Qué hace Camila? María Cacaito Pelón. Oh no, so
Mm.
Omomen O
Mhm.
pues estaba diciendo hola. Omomeno
Omomeno.
dice hola.
Buenas.
María Cacaito Pelón dice
Ajá.
morning Dani Coco y Chili, ¿cómo van?
Buenos
Hola mi
días.
Cacaito.
Caquero.
¿Cómo vas, Coco?
¿Yo? ¿Cómo voy? ¿Me preguntas tú o le respondo a Caquero?
Pues ya que Cami preguntó, te pregunto a ti,
todo
¿cómo
bien,
vas?
todo muy bien, afortunadamente, gracias a Dios, como diría mi mamá, muy bien, afortunadamente.
¿Qué
No,
ha
todo
pasado
bien.
de nuevo? ¿Qué cuentas?
¿Qué ha pasado de nuevo en mi
¿Cómo
vida?
te has sentido el día de hoy?
No, bien, todo muy bien, todo muy bien. Estoy buscando, tengo como tengo perdida la foto que quiero, pues, o sea, ya la dibujé, pero es que necesito dos fotos, porque en esta tenías la mano enfocada y la cabeza desenfocada,
Y en la
y
otra
sé
la
que hay
cabeza
una
ahí.
que se te tapa toda la cara, pero lo poquito que hay está un poquito más enfocado, entonces la estoy buscando mientras tanto, pero no tengo
Hazle pantallazo
idea.
cuando
No,
la...
no tengo idea. No, yo les pongo favorite porque ya...
Entonces mira la fecha para poderla buscar más rápido.
Ah, no, no. Esas cosas, por ejemplo, son demasiado eficientes. En cambio,
Bueno, entonces esperemos acá
yo
seis
acá
horas charlando.
me da... No, un momento, es que esto no, no creo
Mi
que lo...
Lolis, hola mi Lolis,
La Lolis,
dice muy buenos días mis queridos maestros.
la Cholonga, buenos
Hola
días.
mi Lolis, ya no debe estar acá, pero hola mi
No, no,
Lolis.
no, es el saludo y hasta luego. Ah, ya la vi, ya la vi.
¿A la Lolis
Listo,
o
pues.
a la...?
A la Lolis no la he visto, no tengo esa capacidad de omnipresencia de transportarme a donde esté ella para verla. Pero si cierro los ojos, la veo en mi imaginación, en mi corazón, en mis sueños también. En
Bueno,
la ducha.
ay Nicolás.
Awkward.
Fabián Orozco Espina
Sí.
dice hola buenos
Buen
días.
día.
Hola Fabián.
Listo, pues.
Ricard was saying hello best comfy stream.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. That's a great, I mean, that's a great compliment. If we can be like a comfy place to visit.
Yeah.
No tuntaste.
No, 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 but I hit my...
Yeah, but you, I mean, this is Nicolas always.
How's that?
Overreact
Yeah?
and then like you first react as
Yeah.
if something bad happened and then you realize nothing happened. It's like, oh my knee. Are you okay? Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So are you okay? No, you don't even have paint on your finger.
Yeah.
So
And you know that when I busted my ankle, didn't react.
yeah,
So I think
that's also you.
if something really bad happens,
You
I just
don't
won't say
react.
anything.
Yeah.
I just don't say anything.
Sergi Arts dice, hola Nico y Dani, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo
¿Qué dice
están?
Sergi?
Hola Sergi, ¿cómo está Sergi? Robin Sita West 13 was saying greetings all. Hey Robin Sita.
Robin
How are you?
Sita West.
Mira cómo se acomodó Chile.
Ya se acomodó.
Mírala. O sea,
¿Cuán larga es?
Sí. La Julia Tovar dice,
Uy.
early Tuesday. Y dice, Dani, hoy desayuné matcha y te pensé.
Ay,
¿Y
Dios.
te pensé?
Ah.
¿Y qué tal, Julia? Yo estoy, ay, se me acabó mi matcha. Lo tengo que comprar.
¿Qué cuesta matcha? Cuesta matcha plata.
Lo busqué ayer en el mercado al que vamos y no estaba. Tengo que pedirlo a domicilio porque me hace matcha falta. Julia, ¿y fue un matcha solo en agua? ¿O fue un matcha latte? ¿O fue un matcha cote?
Uy. Más bien empecemos tarde porque temprano.
Jermaine was saying hello. I hope to see you live again. Enjoy your paintings, Nicolas. Very inspiring talks and insights to show. Thank you.
Uf.
You
It's a lot
show.
of pressure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabriela Pérez dice, Oli, buenos días. Hola, Gaby.
Gabriela, que se casa en 2 días.
¿Sí?
No sé, pero
Pronto.
suena pronto,
No
parece
sé si en
pronto.
2 días.
Pero se siente
¿Cómo va
como
todo lo del matrimonio, Gaby? ¿Ya
Pronto.
lista, no lista? Detalles, por favor. Liad was saying, yeah, I've missed you. I'm good. I have questions about travel and art later.
Ooh.
Hi, chat. Over missed you too. Hi, chat. I've missed you too. And Liad was saying, Danny, why were you gone for so long? So Nicolas was traveling for 2 weeks. And then we thought we were going to have Chile's... Siempre se me olvida. Spain.
Yeah.
And we didn't, so it's tomorrow. So we've been gone some days, but here we are. And here's Chile. A ver. Lu Andino dice, hola a todos, uf, me gusta esa composición. Y
Vamos a ver
dice,
si la logramos.
¿cómo está la pequeña Chili? Bien, muy bien, aquí está juiciosa. Ojalá se duerma ahorita un ratico. Y bien.
Chilamento boliviano, sí.
Mañana, bueno, mañana es la esterilización,
Ujú.
ahora sí. Entonces mañana en la mañana la llevaré a que la esterilicen, a mi chilanguita. Entonces no se me puede olvidar que es en ayunas. No se nos puede olvidar.
Ujú. A mí no se me olvida.
Cody Winicky was saying, hey everyone, hi Liat, long time no see. Hey Cody, how are you? Um, here. Emily Painting Elk was
Ujú.
saying, hola, ¿cómo está Chili?
Hola,
Hola,
Emily.
Emily.
Emilia.
Chili está muy bien, muy sana. Mañana la van a esterilizar y ahorita,
Ella debe estar diciendo como porque están hablando
sí,
así. Este poco de idiotas.
y ahorita salió al parque, jugó con un pastor alemán muy grande.
Sabes que ahorita
Ahorita es muy difícil, sí.
es muy
No tiene
mexicano, pero el
pero no
nuestro,
tiene traducción.
little now,
Eh,
pero es una manera muy fácil de reconocer a un colombiano ahorita.
¿Sí?
Claro, eso no lo dice casi nadie.
Toca enseñarle a Rosalind
Mm.
entonces y a Emily que digan ahorita.
Sí, creo que en México,
Ahorita.
México existe. Ahorita pronto, sí.
Ahorita pronto,
Ahorita
no
más
sé.
pronto en México.
Ya merito.
España no,
He oído.
cero. Argentina no dicen ahorita. No, no dicen ahorita. No,
Ya
nosotros.
merito.
¿Cómo?
Ya merito. Eso es en México. Pues no sé si se usa mucho, pero
¿Como mero?
ya merito, como ya casito.
No sé. Pues te creo, pero no sé, no la tenía en mi cabeza.
Eh, Emily was saying, ¿dónde estaba? Bogle. ¿Dónde estaba Chili? Chili estaba en el piso ahorita y antes en el parque ahorita. Robin Sita was sending a smiling face. Please look at Chili. She's melting in my arms. Se durmió sentada.
Sí.
Sí. Eso. Julia dice, yo con leche de vaca siempre. Bueno, Julia, un estómago
Uf,
poderoso.
potente. Sí.
Sí. ¿Y tibia? Julia, así
Ella
recién
siempre ha sido
ordeñada.
tibia. Ah.
Carlos Rial
Ujú.
was saying, hi Danny, Nicholas and chat. Hey Carlos. And Carlos was saying, last week I finished 3 paintings, all listening/watching OPO live streams.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank
Yeah,
you,
poor
Carlos,
you.
for being here.
Terrible. Torture.
Well, maybe that's why he
Yeah,
does it.
I have to
Yeah.
finish quick.
Yeah.
Can't take this anymore.
The only reason I can quit this nonsense is if I finish. So I have
Yeah.
to paint. It's a great motto. I mean, if that's why you watch the streams, I would not oppose to that. We
No.
can keep talking nonsense forever. Gaby dice, no, jajaja, hasta agosto.
Oh.
Ya todo sobre marcha.
Sí.
Falta ultimar detallitos, pagar y estamos, jajaja. Bueno, pagar es un detallote, ¿no?
Sí, ese detallito es el más pesadillo. Mucha
Liat,
suerte, muchísima suerte.
claro,
Que todo salga bien. Estoy seguro que todo les va a salir muy
claro
bien.
que sí. Y veremos las fotos. Y Gaby dice, Nicolás haciendo acentos 10 de 10.
Muchas gracias.
¿Qué acento hiciste, mi
Un
amor?
poco. ¿A poco no lo oíste? Pues que hice mexicano.
Estás hablando en el mexicano de Belén. O sea, no de...
Sí, ese es más.
De Belén, nuestra conocida, pues.
Ese es del DF.
Liat was saying, how were your travel, Nicolas? Were you teaching a workshop?
Yes. Good, good. They were all good. Very happy with how everything went. Very happy with the people that I met. Just wonderful artist throughout. Very grateful also for having met the other painters, artists that were the instructors, because all of them were people that I really respect. And you always think that people are going to be a little more, maybe even, well, private. No, they have every reason to, want to be private, even at a place that you're, sharing a ton of information. But how open they were to just meeting people, how just willing they were to share knowledge. It was really, really wonderful. I never thought that I could have like a super relaxed conversation with Vincent Desiderio. And yeah, that's what happened, which is pretty amazing. I mean, he's regardless of, if you like or not like his work, he's one of the, world's, I think, best figurative painters. So it's really awesome to talk to somebody who has had a life that is probably not going to be anything like our lives. I feel like the chances are that any of us here or anyone listening, eventually to the video is going to be repped by Marlboro in New York, and paintings are going to be part of museum collections. I think the Met has a painting of Desiderio, so you know chances are that we are not going to be Vincent at all. Like in many, many levels, we're not going to be able to paint as well as he paints. We're not going to be able to be part of the collections he's in. We're not going to be able to sell for the prices that he sells. We are not going to be able to get the critical sort of acclaim that he's gotten. We're not going to be able to show at the places he's shown. And it's so cool to meet somebody that, I am super quick to say, yeah, that's not going to be my life. That's clearly not going to be my life. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't quite matter, because instead of that creating like a starting point in a conversation where, he's going to be so much higher than you and so unattainable in so many ways. He was actually an incredibly accessible, warm person. It's so remarkable to meet artists that in your mind you think, oh, there's no way that this person is not going to acknowledge the fact that they are bigger artists than all of us, everyone else that was there. And it's incredible to see that they don't. It's beautiful to when you realize that, sure, their story is very different, and their I don't want to call it success, but the the fruits that they have collected from a life of painting are maybe quite different from the ones that I certainly have, or from the ones that anyone listening and watching this probably have also in their lives. But in the end, they're painters. You realize, oh wow, like we are the same. We're exactly the same as painters. And I think he also knows that, and he's able to understand that when he talks to people, he can understand all the things that we have in common, instead of like the things that make him very, very different from all of us. Plus, he's like a genius. He has like this photographic memory. He reads more than anyone I've ever met in my life, and I've met people that are just tireless readers. Um, so he's just a very particular, extraordinary, mind that happens to paint. Um, and I don't know. It was part of the trip was also meeting, people like him or Jeremy and Nadesta, Emilio, Henrik, just people that are, just incredible professionals, so good at what they do, and everyone was just on a very level sort of playing field. Let's say it was so cool. Like it's really really cool because in other scenarios, I've met a bunch of artists that are just like idiots. I mean, you always meet idiots in any scenario in life. There's always going to be cool people, nice people. Yeah, I don't know, generous people, and there's always going to be idiots. It's just life. I don't know why sometimes the art world seems to be more full of idiots than other places, but so you're kind of guarded against meeting somebody who is clearly quote unquote better than you. I'm saying, heavy quote unquote better than you, but we kind of put them in that category or pedestal. We are the ones that are like thinking, oh, they're so successful, whatever that means. But it's usually the idea that we construct in our brains of what success means. But we tend to put them there, and then we think that because we put them there, there's a huge separation between us and them. The truth is, when people are cool, they're just cool no matter where they are at their career. And when they're generous with what they want to share with you, they're just, generous. It doesn't matter how much bigger we thought that they were. But I've met people that have done nothing, in their careers, and they're just idiots. So it is so like heartwarming, refreshing to then meet people who have worked really, really hard for a ton of years and have done they have an extraordinary body of work, and they are just regular people. It's so cool. So that I'm going to take with me forever. Just the reminder that, wow, that's something that, and I think that that's something that I want to work towards. I can't work towards being as good a painter as he is, because I think that where I am right now, which is, it doesn't have to be where I'm always going to be in terms of how I view painting, but where I am right now and the things that I'm convinced about painting are very different from the things that he believes in. But that's totally fine. That's totally fine. But I, I don't want to strive, or I don't have a yearning to strive for the things that make him so special, so successful. Let's say in an art industry, in the art world. But what I can see that I can be complete, what I saw that I was completely enamored with, was the fact that there's this person that, he's I think he's 70, or he's about to be 70, and
68.
68.
Yeah.
So just a person that, he's 24 years older than me, and I usually think of my life like, oh, okay, I've been painting for 25 years, and if I start again right now in the time that I've been painting, if I started right now and I paint that same amount of time, I'll be where he is. And that's where I met him, in Menorca. And it gives me like a sense of like, wow, 25 years, you could be that person. You could share all that knowledge openly and willfully and generously. And that's a cool thing. I think that that's something that I can see and say, okay, I can hope for that. I can work towards being that type of person. But yeah, it's really, really cool. And with Jeremy Mann, and Nadeshda, yeah, I wrote them a couple of days ago, and I told them that, I was like, because I guess we became close, but they're so nice that it's hard not to feel that you've become close to them. But I really felt I became close to them, and I wrote them like a super cringy thing, like no, I consider you my friends. Like, it's one of those things that you meet somebody and you're like, oh, I think we can be friends, like real friends, almost like I think we can be friends from now on, like forever. And I felt that with them. They were super super cool. So yeah, so nice things. I think that aside from the professional part where you're going there to teach, you know, as well as you can, a course that you've, very um, almost like boot campish course that you've designed. Aside from the obligation that I had to do that, the responsibility that I had to do that, which is what they hired me to do, and something that I do happily. Just a human experience, the human part was very very cool. Was very 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 cool.
Did
So
they answer back?
yes, of course.
Okay, so
Jeremy
it's
and
not, yeah,
Nadeshda.
so it's
Yeah,
not cringy. I mean, it
I
would
don't.
be
I know. It's just.
sad
I know. Well,
if
that
you
yeah,
were
that would have been
writing to them,
pathetic.
yeah,
No, no, no.
now we're
Cringy in
friends
the
and you're
sense that I
blocked.
don't. I don't know. Well, you know me. I don't. It's not like I write a bunch of emails telling
No,
people
and
how
I'm
I
sure it
feel.
was from both sides.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Um.
Liet was saying, what's the artist name? Vincent
Oh,
Desiderio.
Desiderio.
So,
Yeah, he's incredible. He is. He is something else.
so where were we?
About
Mm,
to finish, I think. I think we're good.
eh, so,
So,
Nathan Nankin.
okay.
Is it Nathan? Because it's without an H. Yeah, no? Nathan?
Without
Nathan?
an H?
Nathan? I'll go,
No,
like
I've
my
never seen it.
Colombian brain goes for Nathan, but I'm always
Nathaniel.
wrong.
Nathaniel. No,
So,
I don't think I've ever seen it without
so
an
I'm
H.
curious if they can let us know
Yeah.
if it sounds like Nathan.
Okay. What was the last name?
Nankin. 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 Nankin.
I think it's Nathaniel.
Nathan Nankin. Or Nathan Nankin.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's Nathaniel.
Nathan Nankin.
You know what? You could call him Nate. I'm 100% sure that they're gonna be fine if you call them Nate.
No, but I'm curious. I just want to
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I really like when there's like different ways of writing a name.
Yeah, I've never seen it without an H.
Yeah. So they're saying, hi from
Yes.
London. Nice to see you again. Quick
Nate.
question.
Yes.
How long do your brushes last and how often do you clean them?
They should last a long time.
Well,
I'm not gonna.
depends the brush also,
Yeah.
no?
So usually, like, so I don't use this anymore, but this is a what are they called? A mongoose brush. I'm sorry. So this is a mongoose natural hair brush. These are very nice, but I've had that for years. I've had this for a long time. But I don't buy these anymore because I don't like to buy natural hair brushes anymore. Even like the bristle brushes that I have, they are very old. I haven't bought in years bristle brushes. So these are hard natural hair brushes. These are soft natural hair brushes. Both of these, either hard or soft, they don't last too long, and they'll last even a shorter time if you are cleaning them with solvent, because solvent will eat your those natural hairs up very very quickly. So if you're using them constantly, natural hair brushes, even if you wash them every day, which is something that you should do, I actually clean my brushes every day, unless you dip them in oil, because that's something that a lot of people do. I don't do that because I don't like oily brushes, because oil gets in the ferrule. If you dip them and if you leave them there and you just like wipe them clean and then you work with brushes like that the next day, that's what a lot of people do. Oil starts seeping into the ferrule a little bit, and it starts the bristles always feel kind of wet. That was my experience when I tried to do that for a long time, by dipping them in like, this was like um, just a lower grade linseed oil, because you don't need like nice refined linseed oil to do that with. So I bought it at a hardware store, some linseed oil. So like hardware level linseed oil. And then you just dip them there, because I mean, oil is not a solvent, but it will, it will make it easier so that other oil just binds into that oil, and then you can wipe your brushes clean instead of dipping them in solvent. Um, so I did that, but I don't like it. If you've noticed, if I could like suck all the oil from my paint, so if I could put it on top of like, let's say, parchment paper, um, or something like that, that would absorb some of the oil, and I would have just like very kind of thick clay-like paint, I would love that. I love to paint with paint like that. That's why I paint on a raw surface, because it starts to absorb the oil, and then I feel like I'm painting with clumps of paint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but those are like, I mean, you have to know how you want to paint to understand how you want to clean your brushes. Because I'm trying to be super specific about this. Because the way I have to clean my brushes based on how I like to paint is very different from how other people would clean their brushes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't like excess oil in my hairs, in my brush
You
hairs.
don't like oil.
I don't
at
like
all.
oil. I know, I love oil paint. I just
Yeah.
don't like oil
The
as medium.
oiliness in oil.
No, I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, I much rather drag my brush across, like, like, what's the word? I'm gonna remember my the word that I'm looking for in a little bit, but I much rather drag it across and feel like it's really dry and very, I don't know, it just feels kind of ancient when I do that. I don't know. It makes sense to me, I guess. But it wouldn't make sense if I do that, but then I dip my brushes in oil overnight, every night, and then I wipe them clean. And when I, want to paint again, there's going to be all this like residual oil in the brush that when I start to paint, everything's kind of feels slippery. Like that would totally be backwards for me, because I don't like to paint that way. So I don't wash my brushes that way. So the way I wash my brushes, which is totally fine, and it's the simplest way to wash my brushes, is that I don't dip them in solvent, because I don't own solvent here. There's no solvent in our apartment.
No.
Nothing. None at all. Nothing. Not a single drop of solvent. So what I have to do is that I wipe them off as much as I can, and every single night, for as long as I remember, I clean my brushes every night.
Yes.
Every day. Because I say every night because if I think of my life, I'm sure there's days during the year that I don't paint.
Yeah, I guess when we're traveling.
Yeah,
or-
but I would say that, I don't know, they all add up to like, I don't know, weeks maybe, some weeks, a week, 2 weeks of my life, of my year I don't paint. But every other day I just paint.
Well, but that's a privilege. I mean,
I'm
you're doing
the luckiest
what you
person in the
love,
world.
Yeah,
So that means that I have to clean my brushes every single day. Every single day. So
yes.
I
And you
have,
let them dry in the bathroom? You
yeah,
just like
so I
wash
use
them
I
and-
use my sink, which is not a great thing. Like, I wish I had like better way of getting rid of paint. There's no, at least in terms of the city, there's nothing that the city could provide for me so that I could get rid of oil paint. So rags with oil paint, paper towels with oil paint, or just, again, I would probably have to have like one of those big ass barrels that, you put solvent in there,
I
or
think it wouldn't even fit.
yeah,
in the
no,
bathroom
it's just
that
that
we use.
I think that there's private companies here in Bogota that can get rid of those sort of residuos, residues, but you have to pay a lot of money for that, which is something that I mean it's probably like there's industries that would hire those companies, but for a painter it just wouldn't make sense.
No, and I also
So-
think that they do that, but in like bulk.
Yeah.
They would not come here just
No.
for
They would.
a little
If you pay
thing.
them, they would. It's
You
just that.
sure?
Yeah. Because when I was at the university, I was saying like, how is it that there's a way to get rid of the all the chemicals in the photo lab in the traditional photo lab? How is it that there is a very clear way of disposing of those residues, but you don't contemplate that for painting? Like
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
no, but I'm saying because I do remember when we were etching with
Yeah.
acids,
Yeah, same thing.
we could not, because I remember eye contact, because after the class I had some acid that I was not gonna use,
Yeah.
and I was kind of scared of having it in my house.
Oh, what? In your house?
Yeah,
Why?
because I did the etching in my house too.
You were burning the plate in your house?
Yes.
What?
I think we were all
What?
in my semester.
Did you just go with a jug and they gave you like acid
We
solutions?
bought it.
What?
Yeah. Well,
That
we
is
had
crazy.
to have we had to show that we were
Art students.
an art student.
I don't think
yeah.
you could do that anymore, by
And
the
they
way.
were saying this is the address that's like
Yeah.
where you can go buy them.
Yeah.
But I did, and I had it in my house.
Was it around, because I used to buy with my mother back then when there was no
In the
restrictions.
Caracas.
Abajo en la
Yeah.
70 y picho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in that semester, because I do remember in my first semester
Yeah.
in etching, they did not ask for any permits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I
Absolutely
was
crazy.
going for other things because I was using for another class like wax.
Yeah.
So I didn't need that. But I
Okay, like
remember
soft,
when I went after.
Yeah.
So when I was needing the acid,
What? This is so
they
insane.
had to like verify that you were a student.
Oh my God, I've heard just now. I remember the stories about
Yeah.
your acid in the bathroom.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh
so,
my
so let me get there.
God.
So
No, this
there
is
was a
terrible.
bathroom in the studio that we
This
there
is your
was a
house.
shower, yeah, my parents' house.
Yeah.
Apartment, yeah. And we never used the shower, so my dad changed that and created like a closet.
Yeah.
Where we stored a lot of things. So it was like a wooden closet. And I tried calling, I think like 6 different places.
Yeah.
And I was telling them I have this acid and I need you to come pick it up because I don't want to have it here. And they were telling me how big is the content of acid that you have.
Right.
And it was not a lot.
I'm
I mean,
sure
it
it
was like
liters,
a little bottle.
probably.
No.
Oh.
It was because I had like a
Did you have like
plastic-
a solution, or did you buy like pure like
The-
sulfhydric? A sulfhydric,
no,
I
the
think.
pure acid is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
that we bought.
Yeah.
And I had to buy like specific containers that would not
Oh yeah.
be.
There's a one type of
Exactly.
plastic that you can
Yes.
use to hold those.
So I had it
This is
stored.
very Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had it there, like stored there.
Yeah.
And because I was scared because the bottle was
Yeah.
not closing
Oh,
properly.
Jesus Christ.
So I put it in the container,
Yeah.
closed the lids because it was like airtight.
Yeah.
And I had it there, but it was like a thing this big. No, you can't see it. It was like this big.
Like a little tub. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would sink my plates there.
Yeah.
But it was like clean acid. I hadn't used it before, but it was like the residue I had. And I was calling places and places to know if they could
Oh,
pick it up
God.
or if I could leave it somewhere.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's a problem because you cannot own that acid. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm a student. And I was authorized to buy it because I also contacted the place where I bought it
Yeah.
to see if I could return it. And
Yeah.
they were not able to do that.
Well, they're not interested. I mean,
No.
that's a problem for them then.
So no one said anything. And I was like, please tell me how much it's going to be and I will pay for it
Yeah.
so you can come and pick it up.
You know what? Now I'm thinking. You know who could have called? The fire department.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, I don't. I
Thought
didn't
about
know.
it,
I
so-
like right now. I'm thinking like, because you could call the ministry, like the health part of Bogota, of the city. They should have an answer for that. I'm quite positive that they have to have an answer for that. But I'm pretty certain that firemen know how to get rid of stuff that you're not supposed to have.
Yes. So the story does not end there.
No.
I think my mom, we had someone that helped us in our house, like tidying up things.
Yeah.
And she was like, I want to like tidy up that closet because Daniela has a lot of things there. And I remember I told them, no, it's fine. I mean, I have like 2 levels of it, but I know where all my materials are. But she did go to that closet, and I mean, it was the container, and she put it like to the side. So she was, lo apoyo en el lado. I don't know how to say it. So she like
Leaned it.
flipped it to the side. Yeah, leaned it to the side.
Oh, she turned it.
Yes. But when she did, I mean, I think she opened it and she was like, oh, I don't know what that is. And then she closed it, but she didn't close it properly.
Uh-huh.
So she put it to the side, and yeah, she was gone. And the day after, my mom, like the morning after, I think, she was like, what's that smell in the bathroom?
Oh, it smells, yeah.
And we went into the bathroom and the closet. I mean, the acid had ate up the wood in the closet.
Of course.
I had some notebooks
Yeah.
that were not notebooks anymore.
No.
I mean, and those were that semester notebooks. So, and yeah, it was terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
it ate up a ton of things. And I remember my mom was like, Danny, what's this? And I was like, Mom, don't touch. Like, please let me clean that, because that's acid. That's the one that I was trying to get rid of, but I wasn't able. And she was like, why is this thing here, like in this weird position where it's leaking? And I was like, Mom, I swear I did not put it like that, but I mean, it is my responsibility, yeah, because it was mine.
Yeah.
And I should have put like a warning sign there, just like don't touch, don't move. But I was the only one that went to that closet.
I would have gone beyond that and said that the mistake comes from before. Like, there is no reason in this world that you, as a young art student, should have like acid in your house. Like, I grew up with that because my mother was a printmaker. She's an etcher. So I kind of grew up understanding that that's the tub of, sulfuric acid, and that's, it is acid. And probably the way that she disposed of it is the way that people disposed of it for, centuries and decades,
by the drain,
which is, you make a solution and you're hoping that is, you make it weaker and weaker and weaker, and then you just throw it on, into the drain, which is terrible. But there is no reason at all that today or whatever many years ago this is probably like 10 years ago for you, but that you should have acid in your house. Like, there's no, like, so many more things can go wrong than it can make things easier
and
for you.
And by the way, it was there for about a week.
No, that's terrible.
I mean, this was in a week.
No.
Imagine having that and forgetting about that.
No, Jesus
it happens
Christ. No.
Like, and what you were saying is true too. I mean, the fact that you can like dilute it to like an amount that you can just like throw it out, or that you think you can throw it out. But my sister studied ecology.
Oh no, that's not the way to do it.
Well, that's not the way.
No,
I mean,
no.
She was like, yes, I guess people do that,
no,
but that's not okay.
No,
so that's why
usually
I started
for those
like
things,
researching where to. But
they
there
have,
were
like,
no places that.
No, they have like
these
these cans full of sand or full of something, and you just pour that. I don't know if acid. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to dispose of acid, but yeah. But usually for super highly irritant substances, you do have to, put them into something that can actually absorb them, rather than having them at their, so like as a solution, which is
like
terrible.
A liquid, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, but I do remember after that, I think it was the semester after that, people were not allowed to
Well, the
buy
law
it
changed,
anymore.
so
Yeah.
yeah, you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you need special permits, but I don't
Mm,
think artists can get those permits anymore.
no. I think they can sell it to I don't know, like an industry,
Yeah.
but they don't sell it to
Actually,
a person.
yeah, actually, I wonder. No, I think you can if you're an artist. You probably have to show enough paperwork to so that they know that you're indeed an artist, and they'll take all your information
No, they did
because
that. They asked for phones.
yeah, yeah.
They
But so I'm
I like
guessing
I
that
had to show the ID of the
yeah,
university. They
but
were like double checking everything.
right.
So
So I'm guessing like people can still buy it. So if my mother wanted to etch again, I'm sure she could get it in some way. But yeah, but I would never in my life. There was in SVA that I took etching for 2 semesters. Also, it was so strict. The acid use was so strict.
mhm.
Starting from if people don't know what they're doing with the tubs of acid, like how strong they are or
Yeah,
how weak they are, they'll ruin them. They'll start like putting
they eat up the
plates.
plate.
Yeah, they'll start putting
Yeah.
plates that you're not supposed to. Like you know how old the acid is, and you should know how weak the solution is.
Yes.
That should be super marked. They should have a date on that tub. The people that are in charge of the workshop. So in my case at university, there was a what do you call that, monitor
Mhm.
that would be changing that almost daily. So but you can't just go and use it like whatever. It's almost like when you have the same thing with the tubs in a photo lab,
Mhm.
like young photographers, like young people that are learning about photography, they usually ruin all
Yes.
the chemistry that's in the dark room.
Yeah.
So
Or they even that happened to me. They turned the light on.
oh Jesus Christ, no, that's
Yeah.
that's something else. But
We were all so pissed.
oh, that is
yeah.
an idiot. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, that speaks very much about us. I feel us as a country, and as like, oh yeah, just go get some acid, and just have it in your house, and buy this tub, and burn your plates
Well, but to be
at
honest,
home.
yeah, but it's not.
That's-
It was not that easy to get it. So it's not,
I
as you were
know,
saying.
but
It's like,
regardless, it's not even something that a teacher should say to a student. Like that is the truth. That's the honest truth. Like if you have students, you don't tell them to go buy acid. They'll other type of acid, like sure, that type of acid they do on a daily basis, but
no,
no.
but no, Alfonso was very responsible.
No,
always.
no. I grew up with acid in my house because of my mother. So I'm not saying that because for my mother, we had gallons. We had like those huge gallons for the acid at home. But it's just because she's also of that generation that they were like, oh yeah, sure. And my mother was like, oh, just be careful. And we did have like a backyard with like and she would just dump it all there. But that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And nowadays, I'm sure if you asked my mother, like, oh, would you have
That around
those
your-
gallons of acid with all your nieces and nephews, or grandchildren, I'm sorry, she
Mhm.
would be like, oh, of course not. There's not a chance, in the world that she would do that again. So, yeah.
Julia Tovar dice, that's crazy. When I did it, everyone used it in the university with the teacher. Yeah, I think what happened that semester is that we were in the.
Was that there were tents? That there was no etching classroom?
So we were in the old one,
Yeah.
like in the old etching classroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were a lot of people because
Yeah.
they've admitted people to the class thinking that we were going to go to the new faculty place, but it was not open until like a year after.
Oh, much
So-
more than that.
Yeah, so there were like many people in the class,
Yeah.
and we were not able to go and sing the plates all at the same time for the final. So that's why we got the permit to buy it
Wow.
just for the final. So
Yeah, but no.
yeah,
I mean,
no, and it
there's a
was
ton of
terrible. I
things
mean,
wrong
it
with that.
ate up my ate up.
Yeah, it eats
Yeah,
acid, eats
ate up
up
my
anything.
notebooks. Like
Yeah, but it
I remember, I grabbed something and I was like, "What is this?" Of course, I had gloves on
I mean,
after.
it's already done most of its, harm.
No,
So
but I did everything to try and clean it up. I even remember I was like with a lija. How do you say
sandpaper?
sandpaper? Yeah, sanding the wood
Oh,
because I was
Jesus.
scared. Yeah, because I mean, the paint of the wood, like the tint it
Yeah.
had, it started to like, it was like
Do
squishy.
you think it still smells a little
No,
bit?
it
No?
does not. I
No
think
way?
they changed the wood that was affected.
Okay.
So yeah. And to be honest, it was like a tiny amount of acid. I
Oh,
cannot imagine if I was like buying.
Danny, if it's pure acid, all you need is a little amount.
Yeah,
Like it's horrendous.
yeah, terrible. Cody Winnicky was saying usually the city dump has a special facility for proper disposal
Mm.
of stuff like that.
Mm.
It's not that easy here.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, for us, no. Nope. So you're much better off going to a private company than
That's what I did. I
yeah.
mean, I asked
Yeah.
public, private, I asked
Yeah.
everyone. I was like, please let me do that. And also the places that were like, yeah, well, maybe you could come here and dump the thing.
Yeah.
It was like super far. And I was scared of, I mean, imagine traveling with that
Yeah.
in a taxi. With
No,
it,
no, you're
like,
fine.
in
No.
your legs.
No, if
I
it's
was
if it's
scared.
properly
I was
no,
like,
if
please
it's
come pick it up and
if
I'll
it's
pay for
properly
it.
no, if it's properly stored, you'll be fine.
No,
It's
I
like
was
any other
scared.
chemical that you could deal with.
No.
But yeah, but it's just like you're not supposed to. Like if you're
Imagine the police stopping the taxi.
well
And
at
I'm just
that
traveling with a tub of acid.
yeah, at that time
No,
it,
terrible.
eventually it became illegal. So yeah.
No. So where were we before? So cleaning your brushes. That was the last question.
Yeah, I don't know how we got from cleaning your brushes. Oh well, yeah, disposing
Solvents.
properly of
Oh, okay. I thought it
you
was
know.
because of the solvent.
Yeah, I
and
still
then
feel bad that when I wash my brushes, all of that stuff just goes down the drain. I still think that we need to be better. We as society, I feel.
we could try to figure out a way.
We could change paint because oil makes it way much harder. Oil because oil can clump up. So it could be terrible for the pipes. It could be terrible for all the drain, for everything. All that fat just eventually kind of solidifies and clumps up. So I know that that's an issue.
No,
I
but
should change. I should do this because paint is good enough, I feel, now. But there's still that issue of what paint is made from. So my step should be
water miscible
water-miscible oils and not and no heavy metal pigments.
Mm-hmm.
So no cobalts,
Yeah,
no cadmiums, no cinnabar green that has like mercury and stuff like that. I don't think that yellow, that bismuth yellow, I don't think bismuth is terrible.
But if you were to keep the oils, I think we could find a way, maybe having like a little tub where you can store the dirty water.
I don't know. I don't know how. I really don't. I really don't. I'm sure somebody does it properly. Yeah, I don't. I wish I could. I wish it was as easy. Actually, I could talk to my cousin. He actually studied. He knows how to, like, the city actually has hired him so that he what is it called? What do you call that? As an advisor, because what he studied, he's an engineer, but what he specialized on was in trash. What do you call those?
So like recollection.
Yeah. Just getting rid of trash, which is amazing. I feel because that's like probably one of the world's biggest problems. So he probably I should actually. Yeah, this is really dumb because actually he's the one person that I should be asking. So I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna write to him. He's super nice. He's one of the nicest people ever, I feel. Um, and I'll ask him like if there's a place that I can go to, and if there's anything that I should or shouldn't be doing when trying to dispose of oil paint. And I'll have an answer for everyone. So if I can trust somebody's opinion on this, it would be my cousin. And it's not because he's my cousin. It's because he's like, for one, he's like super intelligent, and he actually knows specifically about these things. So yeah. So
So
I'm gonna write to him and see.
Guillaume Lheureux
Ooh la la.
was say, was saying, for me, it's water mixable oils and stocking jars, then bring them to the special place for the city
Right.
of the city for waste. But if your city don't do this,
No.
I don't see a real solution.
No, we
I
don't
mean, we could
have. I'm
Google
100% sure that we don't
if
have
it
that.
does, but
You know why I'm 100% sure that we don't have
it's at
that?
the university.
Because I
yeah.
spoke to the faculty at the university, and I was like, "Why is it that you have a way to dispose of all the chemicals in photo,
And not
but not in
oil.
painting,
Yeah.
not in oil, not in painting? There's 20 20 people in my class plus other painting classes. There were probably around 50 people, let's say,
I would
in
say
a
more.
semester
Yeah.
painting all the time. So
More, because remember, it was not only painting one, but painting two.
right.
And there were like
So let's say 60 people.
painting materials.
Yes, let's say 60.
And then the people that were not artists, like in the art career.
Yeah, I usually do watercolor for that.
No, I thought.
Sometimes.
Well, but I mean, I think it was like 100 people.
Okay, so let's let's go over and say there's 100 people creating residue every semester. How is that not? And what they told me was like, it's so expensive. Like this is one of the richest private universities in Colombia. It's enormous. And they were like, it's so expensive because we have to go through a private company that gets rid of those things. But it is crazy expensive. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't understand that to be like a good reason. I was like, so it's expensive. So that should be something that you should take into account. But you should do it. And they never did anything about it. And I always complained. I have like, at least I know that I always complained about it. And I said something about it. But I know that they probably don't do anything right now. I don't know of any art faculty in Bogota that does that either. Like not in Nacional, not in Los Andes, not in La Javeriana. Like they just don't do it properly. So I wonder.
Julia was saying, and how did you finally dispose of it? No, Julia, it disposed of itself.
Yeah, it
just,
ate
like,
up.
spilled and
It ate up through the
everything.
wood.
So,
yeah.
So I had to like gather all the things, the parts of the things that were things before the acid, and just put them in a bag with a lot of rags.
No, it's terrible. Yeah, it's again nothing good. That's why I always say like people that have solvent in their house, like nothing good comes out of it.
But I
like there's nothing good.
And I remember I felt so guilty. And my mom was like, "It's okay, nothing happened." I mean, and I was like, "Yes,
thankfully.
Mom, but like this makes me realize how like dangerous it can be."
Yeah, of course.
So.
Yeah, not a good thing.
And
but
I have to say that.
What's that?
I had with tapes. I remember I put like acid in all caps.
No, it doesn't matter. But again, I
felt guilty.
Yeah.
Because it was like, yeah, I mean, it said acid. But
so I think you were probably young, and I mean, that doesn't make you not accountable for that. I think the first person accountable is your teacher, who I know, and you know that I love him, but it should have never happened. And it's very much like him to say, oh yeah, go and buy that, because that's just how they were taught. Because my mother's older, but they're sort of the same generation.
They were.
And it was just normal for them. That was like par for course. That was like, yeah, just go get some acid and that's fine. But that should have never happened. And then if you were going to do that, you should have had like a whole, I would have taken a whole class, the amount of time to just tell people how, hazardous it is and how you're not supposed to do it. But if you're going to do it, you should be doing this.
No, and I remember I thought, okay, the way to dispose of this, because the ¿cómo se dice? Empresas. I'm losing my words. I'm sorry.
Losing your mind. Businesses.
Like all the businesses, even private or public, that can dispose of this are not helping or are not giving any solution that I can do. And the thing is that I could have just like go with that to the university.
Yeah.
We were starting vacations. That's why I didn't. So
Yeah,
I thought, okay, I'm going to store this for the period of vacations. And then I'm going to go back to the university and dispose of it there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It would have been exactly the same to throw it down the drain there.
Over there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think they had. Didn't they have a place
No.
to dispose it?
No.
Okay. So. Liad was saying, when you compare all the oil painters in the world to all the manufacturing and corporations and uber rich, you really don't even have to worry about it. It's like being concerned about disposing of one bag of trash compared to an entire country. The only difference between water mixable oils and regular oils is that it dissolves in water, but you can use detergents to break the oil down.
Sure, but we can't really think that way, Like if it's, yes, the impact that policies can have that affect, industrial businesses, and the way they dispose of all these residues is far more beneficial to humanity than us just saying like, oh, I'm going to compost, or, oh, I'm going to, I shouldn't be throwing this way. And you're totally right. But that doesn't mean that there's not like a proper way of doing it and a improper way of doing it. So, I understand it. I understand in terms of like when searching for a solution, where those efforts have to be put into, and how it's obvious that the people that, the people that pollute the most are not people, they're businesses, they're factories, and it's more of like the industrial end of it, for sure. But it doesn't mean that people can't do what's proper. So
yeah, there's a very interesting podcast episode about that. It's called, maybe I'm gonna misquote the name, but you can kind of find it with what I'm gonna say. It's like how to save the planet and still drink from a plastic straw.
Okay.
So it was interesting because it's a podcast about like how-to questions, and they call like people that know about certain topics, and they try to discuss about that problem. And they were talking about how can you, because it was a lady saying, okay, I have an electric car, and I have this, and I have that, and I have that, but there's always something else to have.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't do that. Oh no, and the electric car was even a problem because she was saying, I know I need an electric car, but I have many kids, so they don't fit, and I need a van, and I can't afford a van that's electric. So they were talking about that.
She can now get a Tesla truck.
And they were talking about how you can just be more active with campaigns against the industries that pollute the most.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, I do think that doesn't mean that you can't try to do what's supposed to be the way to dispose of things.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's why we recycle.
Not gonna harm.
Yeah, we recycle. People recycle, and you could argue the same thing about, well, what, how much can just regular human beings impact the environment by recycling plastic bottles, and compared to a practice that uses less plastic, or a law that that is imposed on these businesses so that they use less plastic, or a different sort of plastic. So yeah, it's I mean, it is a choice always. Always. I think anything in life is a choice. And it doesn't I think it just doesn't take much to say, okay, this is what I'm doing now it could be better. I could be doing a little bit better. I'm not saying that you go all judgy and you turn into like an environmental freak, but which is, I mean, that's your choice, whatever you do. But I'm saying, like, yeah, if you could be a little bit better, that's fine. And for me, the impact that it would have is like non-existent, I feel. Like, for example, I don't know why I've been so hesitant about giving up. So the bigger culprits here are Cad Red and Cobalt. But Cobalt I rarely use. I probably have one small tube, not even for like a year. It lasts me for like a year and a half because I use it so sparingly. But Cad Red, I've been like, I should stop using it. I should stop using it. It just doesn't, like the production of cadmium based pigments should not really happen anymore. It should just stop. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna look for an alternative. I'm gonna ask around for a good alternative for Cad Red, which I think a lot of people use Pyrrole Red. So we'll see if we can begin to just get used to that. And at least that's a small change. I mean, it doesn't impact the industry, because if all the companies still say, no, we're going to still make them, so that changes nothing. But for example, it'll change something in my household.
Mm-hmm.
So just so that I know that if if I'm always putting my hands in my mouth, at least it's not going to be cadmium in my body.
Or if chili.
Yeah, or if chili just decides to
lick
eat
the
up
floor and we don't realize there's a little spot of
Yeah.
paint.
At night, she's not going to be glowing like Mr. Burns.
No. María Cacaíto Pelón dice chilanga ladradora. Le va a ir
Jajara.
súper mañana. Pero lo bueno es que Cacaíto puede ver cómo es Chili acá. O sea, está dormida, tranquila. Pero con mi primito le dio por ladrarle y ladrarle y ladrarle.
No, pues es que
Es que
igual
es
es
un
que está en su
niño.
casa. No, pues está
Pues no, y es
un
que
perrito
igual,
en su casa.
sí, pero igual es un niño y también es lo que yo decía, ella no está acostumbrada porque es que Samu y Fer ya son mucho más grandes. Entonces Samu y Fer no son como que gritan de la emoción o corren o como de cosas así como...
Sí.
Y pues para ella eso es como alerta y ladra. Pero sí, y le va a ir muy bien mañana, sí, yo sé que sí. Mañana estaremos allá desde temprano juiciosos. Swiss estaba preguntando, ¿son de México? No.
Pues mira que no.
Pues mira, no hay
Pues mira que no.
Somos de Bogotá, Colombia.
France.
Cody Winnicke was saying, doing well. I saw a great exhibit of French and American painters from the mid to late 1800s
Ooh la la.
this week. It was really inspiring. Love that time period in art.
Oh, yeah.
And is it a show in your city, Cody? Or did you travel to see it? Osobuco Donosor.
Osobuco.
Lleva tiempo sin estar acá, Osobuco.
Uno de los
Osobuco solo viene
usuarios,
a la hora del almuerzo, ¿no?
Uno de los usuarios de los nombres de usuarios que más me gusta, debo aceptar.
Sí, es muy chévere. Dice, yo con leche de almendras always. Yo con creamer de almendras, tengo que decir. Pero con leche de almendra también.
Muy sofisticados todos.
Hay gente
ustedes.
que dice que ahora la leche de almendras no le gusta, que prefiere la leche de avena y leche de yo no sé qué.
Pero es por la producción.
¿Qué? No, el sabor. Yo he oído que la textura de la leche de almendras no le gusta.
El lío más grande con eso es que se necesitan yo no sé cuántas hectáreas de almendras para producir esa leche.
Bueno,
entonces,
eso no lo sabía ahora. Entonces...
Ahora dicen, pues ahora no, ya desde hace un tiempo dicen que
tome
eso,
agua.
que es pésimo.
Solo
porque es
tome agua.
o sea, tienen que dedicar yo no sé cuántas hectáreas pues para producir leche de almendra, entonces...
Bueno, eso no era lo que iba a decir yo, sino que la gente dice que el sabor de
mm,
la leche de almendra con el café o con el matcha no va y para mí va increíble. Entonces,
creo que no hay
yo
nada
estoy con
bueno. Yo creo que
osobuco.
todo lo que es terrible en algún momento la gente fue como, mm,
Y Osobucodonosor
asbesto.
dice, saludos chicos, un abrazo desde Argentina. Un abrazo también,
Argentina.
Osobuco. Em, uno no puede decir un abrazo al Osobuco, ¿no? Eso suena...
Eso suena como una denuncia
Sí,
policíaca. Me abrazó el osobuco
sí.
y yo no quería.
Emily Painting Elk was saying, ahorita can mean anything from right now to never in Mexican Spanish.
Oh, for us too.
In Colombian Spanish
Yeah.
too.
Nicolás, ¿vas a sacar la basura? Linda,
Ahorita,
ahorita.
it's never gonna go out.
No, no. And that's a terrible
No, it's
example.
a joke.
Sí, ese, la verdad, ejemplo es pésimo porque yo en mis labores de casa soy muy bueno, debo decirlo.
Emily was saying, and I was referring to where we were last time. Trying to translate the word boggle or baffle into Spanish. I'm not giving up.
Atónito, creo que habíamos quedado que era la más
¿Atónito?
cercana, sí. Sí, mal no recuerdo. Y creo que no recuerdo mal.
So, as in...
No, let's not. That was that day.
Guillaume was saying, hello, everyone, with a B. Hello, everyone. Hello, and then everyone. Hey, Guillaume. S-Man was saying, could we get a few more gouache portraits, please? I got one of these Hemi sets and I'm lost.
Oh, really?
So I tried
It is
to
pretty
rehydrate
intimidating.
my
How did it go?
Hemi. So I had two. I had one that I used
Mm-hmm.
and the one that you used.
Yes.
And I tried to hydrate one
Yeah.
while you were in a class. I don't know if you remember. So I went into the bathroom.
Oh,
and you
were
thought
there for...
I was dead.
I thought you were dead. Yeah, I really did. I thought... I'm noticing now that when you are gone for a long time, I'm obviously concerned, but I'm also like,
At peace.
I should either give her time so that she ends up, solving whatever she's trying to solve in there, or I should give her time for the body to decompose. I mean, it's always like, I wonder...
For the smell to let
yeah,
me
I
know
wonder.
if
Yeah. I wonder what
diseased or
she's
not.
doing. The other day, also in the bathroom, I was like, when you were cleaning the
I
bathroom.
was cleaning the bathroom.
You know what it is? I couldn't
rearranging
hear
everything.
any activity.
Because I
happening.
was cleaning with a wipe every single
Yeah,
product
so-
I had.
So if I hear like a lot of clanking going on inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's still cleaning in there.
But I'm a silent cleaner, I have to say that.
I
If
mean-
I hear you cleaning the bathroom, I hear the door.
Oh,
I hear
everything.
the-
I
I
mean,
hear you fall.
there is
like I hear
evidence
every
of
sound.
my, my existence in the bathroom.
Like you're walking.
Well, I
you're
make
just,
it
like,
known. I'm here.
scrubbing the toilet. Yeah, I like.
I mean, don't make it
scrub-
sound.
No.
It's like, you
I'm
scrub so loudly.
No. I'm
This is
just
so
exaggerating.
annoyingly spotless,
No.
Nicolas. It's like so.
No,
Ugh.
I'm
Could
exaggerating.
you do the same job, but like,
Nicolas. I'm
not so
exaggerating to
loud?
emphasize in the fact that I know that you're cleaning, but I do understand what you're saying because
Yeah,
I do like I scrub.
you like ninja.
I like scrub
I know, but
very
it's
gently for a long amount of time until it's clean.
yeah.
And when I organize, there's no sound at all. So
Well, yeah. I don't know
remember
if I
you
would
texted
refer
me.
to it as scrubbing.
you texted
I
me.
think I did.
You
Yeah,
were like, "Are you alive?"
yeah, yeah. I was genuinely concerned. I mean, not so concerned as to wake up from bed and walk to the bathroom, but I was concerned. I was
Yeah,
like,
but that time I went into this bathroom to try to rehydrate it.
yeah, the gouache, going back to the
and I
gouache.
have like a little mixer thing. It has like power, and it's
Power.
like a little.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it like moves and it tries to, I don't know, move.
It's like a
the-
whisk. It's like a
I don't know the
electric
name
whisk.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that, but for paint. But this time it was like
Well, it's just a
so
whisk.
solidified.
It's not for paint.
It's for paint. It says.
I mean,
there.
they use it for that, but it's a whisk. There's nothing that about it. Like, if you bought that just to make your matcha, you'd be fine.
Okay, but it has different like heads. so you can make it,
Cabezales?
yeah, easier for an easier access to the
Okay.
paint. And the thing is that it had solidified too much.
Yeah.
So I was doing great. And then I went into one little like bucket of paint that had like a rock of like super solid color.
Yeah.
So I whisked it, like I turned it on, and it splashed all the bathroom.
Oh, nice.
So I was really pissed.
Yeah.
And I had to clean everything, and I gave up.
So
I
so
stopped
you didn't
there.
really know if it
Let
worked
me
or
check.
not.
I mean, we could check how they are. It's been like 2 months.
Oh, Christ. No, it's probably, I mean, it, yeah, for sure. I think if you want to preserve them for longer, you have to store them not like in the fridge, for example. Okay. I know, but that would be the best chance for your paints to remain. No, I mean, it's not a big.
So, I mean, it's not that bad, to be honest. I have to say I'm very clean with my Himi set. That's why I said I have one and you have one. Because I told you, like, make it yours. I mean, if you want to, like, mix everything, do it.
Yeah. What?
And I
Mine
can
are
help you.
terrible?
No, they just have, like, I mean, the red has other colors, the yellow has other colors.
That's, I mean,
Yeah, but I just use a little palette knife and just
no,
put a
stop.
little bit
Oh,
out.
Jesus Christ, no.
Yeah.
No, kill
So
me.
you can see, look at this, Nicolas. You can see the creamier ones,
Yeah.
and then you can see where I gave up. I was like, yep.
Okay. Yeah. But
But
it
it's good.
honestly,
I
I
mean,
mean, if you want to, you know,
and I
if
have the white, which is the
okay.
best thing because it's like the refill.
But if you want to do it, you know, if you want to give yourself a better chance, just store it in the fridge. Okay, so don't store it in the fridge. But paint doesn't, you know. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. No. It's just that that's what people do, but it's okay.
So this is Nicolas' set. I mean, look at the red.
That's the only color though, and the white.
And
Yeah.
it's like a rock.
I mean,
So
how
I
are you
have to, I
supposed to
mean,
keep them clean? I mean, I painted with them for like a week, and then I didn't paint for them.
I've painted with those for like a year.
Yeah. Look at the palette. Look at that. That
You
didn't even
never
clean
cleaned the
that.
palette, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
not even the palette because it had a little insert of the
Yeah.
palette, which you used
Uh-huh.
in both sides.
What
But
did I
then
do
you
with that?
used
I threw that
this
away.
and you threw it away.
Yeah. That checks. That's me.
That sounds like you.
Yeah, very much. I would store it. Would you have any problems like if I bought like a set and I stored mine at the fridge? No. You don't have to. I would take care of it. I've stored paint in the fridge, you know, at many moments of my life. It's totally fine. But you're talking like that thing is huge. You're saying like it takes space. Himi things are so tiny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's not about space.
So the question was if you could paint more with the Himi.
Well,
You could use mine.
no.
Of course you could.
No. Just the fact that you were differentiating them, that you were like, well, mine is very nice as opposed to yours.
So now I have to rehydrate yours? No.
No, you don't have to do anything for me.
No,
what?
I gave you one. I mean, I think
I
that's
know,
a
I'll-
loving thing. It's not bad that I say that I want to have my set and you could have another one.
I know you, and that's what I'm saying. But you wouldn't have to. But because you just said like now I have to rehydrate yours. No, what? You don't have
No,
to
no,
do
no. And
anything.
you can have my
I
set
don't want
because I'm gonna
yours.
buy another one.
No, I don't want yours either.
Okay, so buy another one.
No, I'll use that one. I'll
Okay.
put enough water in there and like just dip my brush like crazy in there. I can get some mileage out of those gouache rocks that are in there.
Davido was saying you want to strive to maximize yourself then, which is a great focus too. I don't know when.
I mean, it sounds nice, so I'll
Yeah.
just say yes.
Let's see. So Guillaume was asking Liad, Nicolas never did watercolor demos, right?
No.
I mean, well, before our painted lives,
I have a couple,
you
but they're
have
not.
one video.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you were using a plate as your palette.
No, that's pretty good. Checks
and you were
again.
using the no, but it's not watercolor.
I think so. I
No,
think
I
I
think
did
you were
one
using-
watercolor.
No, I think you were using the gouache, little gouache set I bought you. But you watered it down a lot, so
Yeah.
kind of. I
Maybe.
mean, you could check that one out.
I don't know. I don't remember so much of those early videos.
Let me check.
Is that the one of Fed in like a tiny Fed one in a notebook, or I forget?
Let me see.
Has to be like the third.
Yeah.
This is OPL when it wasn't
Before
OPL.
yeah.
This is OPL pre-Danny.
Well, not pre-Danny. I was with you already, but
Yeah, but pre-Danny being part of OPL.
so I'm not a founder of OPL, you're saying?
I mean, this is us. This is us. But,
Wow. So
no,
it can
statistically,
be OPL without me. That's what you're saying.
statistically, those videos, and that's why they are clumsy. I tape them myself and I edit them myself, and that's why they're crap. And then you started
No gouache painting, it says.
with
I'm sorry.
what is understood to be the real OPL, January 1st, 2020.
Yes, no, so it was a gouache painting. So nope, no watercolor.
No watercolor.
Nope. Let's see. Carlo was saying, Nicolas,
Carlo.
I heard you're gonna workshop here in Brazil in Sao Paulo.
Brazil.
Would
Sao
you be
Paulo.
interested in spending some more time in another Brazilian capital teaching in a gallery/museum?
Oh, that
And
sounds.
if yes, how does one approach you professionally for that sort of stuff? I'm in the process of organizing some workshops in a cool museum, and your work would be perfect for that.
Oh, you're very, very kind. We wouldn't be able to do it this year. So I know that, it's cool if you can make, and it's efficient if you can make one trip coincide with the other. I'll be super honest with you, but usually that's kind of messy because one of those workshops is paying for my airfare. And, I've had this is totally normal. So this is not anything against you or your proposal, but I have a lot of people, for example, if I'm going to London, I've had workshops that I've taught in London realize like, oh, you're going to be around. Can we do a workshop right now? Because they don't want to deal with my airfare, or they're hoping that because I'm going to be there and I'm going to be there maybe at an Airbnb, they don't have to deal with my stay. So I'm not saying that,
Like
that's a
the case,
bad
yeah.
thing to do, or that's something that you're suggesting. But I do, in my mind, I do think that is kind of unfair. That's an unfair thing to do with the other place. So what sometimes happens with workshops that are like that is that you put those two workshops in contact with each other,
Like
and
they
you say, hey,
split the-
split my airfare. And, and I can do both. And I think that that's super, super fair. But my airfare and my stay in Sao Paulo is already taken care of. So,
And also because of the dates, you would not be able.
oh no, so yeah, so straight from the start, I'll say that unfortunately I can't. Like this year, I can't. I already have like other things that I have to do, so I have to get back. So yeah, this year I can't. But in the future, I would love to. I think Brazil is like an incredible, incredible country, and I mean, I've been to Sao Paulo, but the people that I met, the Paulistas that I met, were amazing. I mean, just the kindest, some of the kindest people that I've ever met. Like super warm, super kind. So yes, of course, I would go there. I would, want to visit other cities in a heartbeat. But yeah, unfortunately, in this particular time, no. And you can just write to my Instagram, or I even think that if you put contact
in our
instead of
webpage.
message, yeah, if you go through our webpage, ourpaintedlives.com, you could contact us through there.
Yeah, it has like a contact.
Right.
tab.
And that'll reach my my email, and I also have my email linked to my Instagram. So if you put contact, you'll be able to contact me through my email. And yeah, but it has to be for the future. I hope you understand. Like, this is I'm being super transparent and open about this, but I think that that's how you're supposed to treat these things. So
let's see.
oh,
Se abrió Photoshop. Debí cliquear.
se abrió.
O sea, espiché sin darme cuenta, pero estaba bajando en los comentarios y se abrió. Entonces sí, se abrió. Ay, Nicolachín. Olga Maria Benninghoff.
Oh, Olguita.
Good morning, Nicolás and Danny. Hola,
Olguita.
Olguita, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estuvo el Día de la Madre, Olguita?
Muy feliz estuvo.
Me imagino. Pues ya te había preguntado, pero pues le pregunto
Muy
a ella.
contenta, muy feliz.
Liet was saying, yeah, I almost never clean my brushes because they last longer than if I clean them every day. I think I'm rough on my brushes when cleaning them. For cleaning brushes, deep clean, I like Murphy oil soap. Oh, you like a very fancy one, Nicolas.
Yeah, it's called
cheapest-
supermarket soap
cheapest-
of the lower part of the aisles.
We always buy the one that's in bulk.
Whatever is cheapest, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can buy 34 of them, that's the better one.
Nicolas Restrepo was saying, hi, Daniela and Nicolas. Do you think one can become an
Yo,
artist
Nicolas.
while having a 9-to-5 job?
Of
Being
course.
a weekend warrior.
Of course. Yeah. There's so many examples of artists that had other jobs. It's totally yes, of course. There's nothing that says that you can't. Nothing.
So we said that we were going to go for Nate, right? Nate Nankin.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Saying,
I mean, I would bet that you could say Nate.
Was saying amazing explanation about the brushes, Nicolas. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Wait,
nothing about the Nate?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to clear something up.
No, that's why I went for Nate.
Oh, I thought you were clearing something up.
Nathan or
I got super excited. My day is ruined.
Rosaline Dion was saying, hello,
Rosalita.
fam. Hope everyone's well. Hola, Rosalina, ¿cómo va el español? Mario J was saying, morning, Nicolas, Dani, and Chili Chili. Chili is in her tiny bed, looking at me. And she was sleeping. I think she's very tired because she was not able to sleep that well after you woke up today.
Oh.
She was like moving and moving around all the time. So, ¿Llaneres o Laneres? Es que no sé si es una L minúscula o una I mayúscula.
Bueno.
Entonces, ¿Laneres de pronto?
De pronto.
Or Laneres, I don't know. Llaneres was saying,
País Lanero.
Is that a glass palette?
Yes. A very dirty one, but yes. So it's very sad that it's in this condition, but it's also somewhat comforting to know that we could potentially get rid of all of it, like everything that's making it dirty, if we wanted to. If it came down to it, we could so clean it. So if the world depended on it, like, oh my God, the world is going to end, the only thing that can stop that from happening is a clean palette from Nicolas. Totally do it. I mean, it probably takes me about an hour to scrape all of this because it's annoying, but totally doable. The world is saved. Thank you.
Avinash Singh was saying, "Hey guys, love your work. It's so inspiring. I love painting on raw paper, but I struggle selling them. Do paintings on raw paper get worse over a quick period of time?"
How define quick? If you're thinking quick as in year, no. If you're thinking quick as in 50 years, maybe. If you're thinking quick as in a century,
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have no way of knowing what, for example, Toulouse-Lautrec did originally, but you know, you and I have seen a ton of artwork, Danny, and they don't seem like
No.
they're falling apart.
No.
So I can tell when a
So,
painting is falling apart.
Again, and gets worse as in how? Because you could argue that Toulouse-Lautrec is worse now. I mean, if you can ask someone in a museum, they would say, "Oh no, yeah, it has been like changing." But it's not like you can't see the painting. It's not like it's
Yeah, and it's not. I don't
like
know.
it's ruined.
Yeah,
You
and paintings, like oil paintings, suffer through that. Like pigments degrade through time. Surfaces degrade or warp or change through time. Nothing lasts forever. Not even a painting. So yeah, I would feel bad for you if that's the reason people are not interested in buying your work. The fact that it's on paper. I mean, there's tons of people that work on paper now. Marcel Zama works on paper. Raymond Pettibon works on paper. I've seen Mikhail Bormann painting on paper. Yeah, there's like Francis Bacon paintings on paper. There's de Kooning paintings on paper. Yeah, I don't know. I think I mean, sure, it involves like saying, "Oh wow, this is a different substrate that it's probably going to affect the painting in a different way than the way it is affected if you have, let's say, a flexible surface like linen or canvas. It's just different, but in no way it means that one is just gonna it's gonna for sure be like the perfect substrate for paint. One of the artists that I love the most, contemporary painters that I love the most. Well, he's like a painter sculptor. He does installation, but Nicola Amori like destroys his paintings. He actually, for him to be able to destroy his painting, well, destroy quote unquote, but for him to be able to reshape, let's call it reshape, because I think that that's maybe a little bit cooler than destroying. But for him to be able to reshape, reconfigure his paintings in the way that he does, he has to create a very unstable painting. So, because if he would create a very stable painting, it would be very hard for that painting to be malleable enough so that he could manipulate it.
Mm-hmm.
So his aim from the start is to make an unstable painting, which by definition means that it's not a painting that is going to last for a long time. And yet he's able to do the most remarkable works of painting that I've ever seen. And, they're all it's all thanks to the fact that he is coming at it from a different point of view. So rather than making a painting that will stand, that can stand the test of time, he's thinking, well, what if I just acknowledge the fact that painting is mutable, that painting through thousands of years will not remain the same because
Mhm.
it remains alive and it moves and it shifts
And
and
even
it
like
shifts at different
alter
rates.
it at the
Right.
moment. It's
Right.
like I wanted to change from the start. So,
Exactly. So what if you take what happens in thousands of years, let's say, and you just compress it into um, something that can happen in weeks?
mhm.
What if that is your practice? To sort of acknowledge the sort of transient nature of a painting, which is not stable. It's only stable in the way we view time. We human beings view time. But in terms of time, it's not. It is something that will change. So yeah, so it's a different I guess it depends on where you're looking, like how you look at painting. But you don't and the thing is, it's very hard for people to look at painting from different shores because painting has been looked at the same way for thousands of years. So any effort in trying to understand it a little bit differently feels awkward or feels like that it goes against the nature of painting. But there's no nature of painting. We can do with painting whatever we want. There's nothing about painting that says that painting has to remain unaltered for the rest of time. It's just that was just an effort that we as humanity had, and we associated. Well, we do tons of things to try to negate the fact that we are ephemeral beings, but we tied painting to that sort of desire to live forever centuries ago. But it doesn't have to be that way. Painting is just painting. It really is. You can approach painting however you want. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to paint like this because Caravaggio painted like this, or I'm going to paint like this because Van Eyck painted like this. And then if genius is painted like that, then surely it means that it's the only way to approach painting, or it's the proper way to approach painting, or it's the proper philosophy to have when considering painting. I don't believe those things. I think that those things change with intent and change with human beings, and they constantly are questions that have to be answered in different ways depending on what you want to get out of painting. But it's not a single answer. And thank God it's not a single answer. It would be limiting and boring if it was, I feel.
Liad was saying, question. I'm
Liad.
going to visit family in Israel in June.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
I thought it might be easier to bring a small watercolor travel set or
Mm-hmm.
gouache set than full on oil paints.
I think
What
so
do you
too.
take when you travel?
Oh, Liad, if I'm doing workshops, I only, if I do other paintings, it has to be the oil paint because I'm already doing painting over there. So if I'm teaching in oils, I'm not going to bring a whole other set and a whole other setup just to paint. So if I'm doing paintings for myself, that sometimes I've done that. I've painted, sketched outside a little bit, or I've done, I stay in my room and I'll do like, I remember, this is not like the one time that I did it, but I remember a painting that I did of you that I ended up gifting to Olivia in Berkeley when I was there doing a workshop with them. That I really love that painting. Really love. I saw pictures of that painting, not good pictures because I didn't have a way of taking a good photo of that
Mm-hmm.
painting. But I started in my afternoons, like I would just reach the place that I was. It was like a shed. It was an Airbnb where I was staying, like
Oh,
a
I remember that.
repurposed shed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was so cold at night.
Yeah,
It
I
was
remember.
freezing at
Yeah.
night.
But it
Um,
was cute.
it was
It
very
was very
nice. Yeah, I didn't
cute sounds
complain.
terrible. It was
Oh,
very
it looked so cool.
No, 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 but I mean, I know that there's people that say, "Oh, cute." No, I'm saying
Oh
like
no, yeah,
real cute. I mean, I really liked it.
I liked it
And I was
too.
like, Nicolas, that's so cool. I
No, it was
really like it.
it
And
was
you were
really
like,
nice. It
yeah,
had
I
like,
love it. And
I mean, they were
after,
fitting.
I remember
I
like,
transported myself to like my dorm, um, because it was a very small place, but it had a kitchen, it had a bathroom,
Yeah,
shower,
but I
it
was
had
gonna say
everything.
that after the first night,
Oh, fuck it.
you were like, "Oh
No.
no, it's just the looks. It's so cold,
Yeah, it is.
so
It
cold."
was absolutely freezing. Like the cold would just go through the door. Like it was one of those doors that wouldn't even like shut properly.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck me, this is gonna be a long. Because I stayed there for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Do you remember? Because
yeah, that
I
was
had to
very
do
long.
that.
I think
I
it was
did.
the Pixar one. No.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
that, and then it coincided with the workshop that I taught at Pixar. So, but I remember on my free afternoons, like after teaching, like I'm never tired of painting. Like I can always paint. I don't think this is like a special thing. I think a lot of painters are like that. But I would just want to like paint something else, and I started doing a painting of you. And I don't know if I
So
thought of
of you
just
as in me,
yeah, of you, Danny, of course.
not of
Uh,
Liad.
Oh no, no. Leah, I paint him in my dreams. No, but I think I started painting it just because I wanted to have like a nice gesture with Olivia.
Oh,
But
I thought because you were missing me.
I mean, I always
But
do. But I mean, it was the perfect, uh, perfect. ¿Cómo se
like
dice?
gesture.
Excuse
Oh,
to like paint you, of course. But
you're also losing your English today. I don't know what's wrong with us today.
no, don't put me in that group.
I mean, you.
Yeah. I mean, excusa was like like a
No,
dumb
but
one
no,
because
you just
it was very
you no,
close.
you lost another word.
What did I lose?
I don't know, but it was like the same word in Spanish than in English.
Okay, no, but
I
that's
have to go back in the video because you
okay.
were like,
Yeah,
uh,
you can't say anything right now if you don't remember what it was. Sorry. That doesn't work that way.
Liad was saying, "Oh, I thought he did a painting of me," and a sad face.
In my dreams, Liad. In my dreams.
Oh,
Liad in
so
Dresden.
here you have an answer. It's Nathan Eber.
Okay.
Nankin is kind of a nickname, and
Okay.
it's not Nathan or Nathaniel. Nathan is a Jewish name. The
Oh,
name
there we go.
derives from the Hebrew
Yeah?
Nathan. I mean, it has like
Yeah.
a
There we go.
como diéresis, parecido a la
Okay.
diéresis. So I would guess it sounds more as Nathan
Yeah.
Eber.
Yeah, Liad, thanks for your help, by the way.
And Carlo,
Yeah.
regarding
Ancelotti.
the workshop in
Yeah.
Brazil, was saying, "Thanks for replying, Nicolas. It's okay, I get it. I'll get in contact so we can arrange it for a future time."
Oh, beautiful. Perfect. I would love to. And maybe Danny can come to Brazil.
Woo! No sé qué fue eso. Pero sí,
Yeah.
sería
She's already
chévere.
in the Sambódromo, Danny.
How was the thing that Marcelo went to?
Marcelo. It was kind of like that. They were doing
Yeah.
like
Like
samba night.
samba night, yeah.
Samba de
Already
amigo.
there. Not dancing. I don't know if I would be good, but I would still try it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can no, Colombians can kind of get
shameless.
that.
So, well, no, I'm not shameless, but I
No,
try to be. If I'm traveling, I mean, no one knows me.
you'll be fine.
So,
Yeah.
let's see. Robin Sita West 13 was saying,
Mm.
"Doesn't your varnish wax have solvent in it?"
Oh, look at her pointing that out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you're saying you don't have solvent?
oh yeah. Okay. Okay. You are totally right.
Yeah, I see that Danny has a nail polish.
Yeah. So yes. So there are, I'm sure, our household. Yes. So I have to be way more specific about this. And she called me out, and she's 100% right. I do feel our relationship changing, though.
Yeah.
Not so much of an ally. No, you're totally right, Robin Sita. I mean, the solvent doesn't mean turpentine, by the way.
Mhm.
Solvent can be alcohol. So, I am
Like, yeah,
100%.
like rubbing alcohol. No,
Yeah.
we have it. I mean, of course we have
No,
it.
or alcohol, like regular alcohol.
Drinking alcohol?
Well, not that.
Rubbing alcohol
Rubbing
is the...
yeah?
I said rubbing alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one that you have in the, like, first aid.
Yes.
¿Sí se dice así?
First aid kits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or like cleaning stuff for the kitchen. That stuff has, some sort of solvent for
Yes.
sure. So yes. Our household is not solvent free. It's not like we wipe the bathroom with like baking soda and a lemon.
I tried that for
Baking
the
soda and a lemon? What?
exactly that.
Are you
Yeah,
serious? I
a
mean,
hundred
that's like
percent.
a
No,
well-known
I
substitute for
thought
like
I told you,
scrubbing.
but
No,
for the glasses,
the glasses.
yeah, in
What
the
glasses?
shower, in the showers,
Oh, okay. So the glass
yeah,
door. Okay.
because they said that that was a great way
The scrub.
to
Yeah.
no for the like to create like a little film on top of it, so
Okay.
it wouldn't get that dirty
In the future.
with the like with
Okay.
water
Did it work?
stains.
Did you do it?
I did it,
Yeah.
and
Has
it
it
was
worked? Because I
with
haven't noticed.
vinegar too,
Yeah. I mean, vinegar.
and I did it,
Well,
and
vinegar is a base.
it did take the
Vinegar is
take
probably
out
as bad as like solvent. Sorry.
it took out, I'm sorry, the stains,
Yeah.
like previous stains,
Yeah.
but I had to come for the window cleaner.
Okay. So
'Cause,
pointless.
I mean, it was clean, but it was not like
Danny clean.
yeah, like crystal clean,
I mean,
and that's how it should look. So
okay. It should.
it should. Sean Farley was saying, "Hola, Dani and Nico and
Ooh.
everyone." Hey, Sean, how are you?
Sean doing the quicker paintings now.
Ooh.
I know.
Cody Winicky was
Mhm.
saying, I found Pyrrole Red to be a little cooler / pinker than Cat Red, but
Mm.
it's relatively close.
Okay. I would miss my red orange pigment. So my red orange hue.
Frankie was saying, love / hate Cat Red.
Oh, come
Love
on.
the intensity, so
Yeah?
only wee bit amount
Yeah.
goes a long way. But also that intensity can easily overtake everything.
Yes. I think I got used to it being so intense because I mostly use very short palettes. So if I understand it as my sole accent and saturation, then it's always going to be in my brain the fact that I have to use it very like sparingly and wisely. I'm not saying that you don't use it wisely. It's just that it's a good if that's the only color that pops in your palette, it's almost like it's unavoidable that you understand that you have to use it then in very economical ways, I feel.
Yeah, and it also depends on the palette you use, because I mean, if you're pairing it with your palette, it's gonna be overpowering. But I do remember, was it the quinacridone magenta, the one that was super overpowering, or it was a blue or something that you used once?
Yeah.
That
I
you were
mean-
like, oh my god, I just like touched the
Yeah,
color
there's
with
been
the
a bunch
brush,
of colors like that.
and like I can't mix it
Yeah.
without
There's been a
overpowering.
blue.
So I think it was a blue.
I forget
yeah.
what blue I was using that I was
Wasn't
like
it the one you used with the quinacridone magenta once?
maybe because but not teal. Teal looks like it's gonna eat
No.
up through all your mixes,
I
but
think
it
it was in
doesn't.
the edited videos that you did.
Maybe.
Because I do remember like recording that session.
Yeah.
And when I went to change like to stop the recording and start the other one,
Yeah.
you were like, oh my God.
Look at
Like-
her butt.
Well, no. But yeah, I remember that. So Sean Farley was saying, Elisa Monks taught me about Scheveningen.
What?
Scheveningen?
Okay.
Scheveningen?
Okay.
I'm
go
gonna
for
go
it.
with
Yeah,
Scheveningen.
because I don't know what that is like.
Scheveningen Red
Oof.
by Old Holland as a
Okay.
Cat Red substitute.
Okay. I mean,
I have no idea how to pronounce Scheveningen, was saying Sean.
okay. I mean, what? You're not Dutch?
Scheveningen.
I
Scheveningen.
thought I could have sworn that Sean was Dutch. Part Dutch. It's a
Why?
joke. He'll get it. He got mistaken for a Dutch person. They were asking him for directions when he was in Amsterdam. And so it was funny. Because he does look very Dutch.
Yeah?
In the same way that if I travel in Colombia, they talk to me in English. They offer me stuff in English because they think I'm like American or something. So us fair skin people are always tourists, never native, never native.
I look very Colombian too when I travel.
Yeah.
Like I look for like foreigner. I never know how to say that.
Foreigner? Yeah, don't think
Foreigner,
about the G.
foreigner
Yeah,
when I
foreigner.
travel. No, I would
I think
not
everyone.
look as a U.S. citizen,
Oh
or would
no,
I?
no,
No.
no, no.
Well, it's so diverse that maybe
Yeah.
if I go to Spain, do I look?
Oh, you could. Yeah, 100%. You could be Spaniard. Yeah.
If I go to Rome,
No,
do I look Roman?
I don't think so. No, maybe. No. Just that you have lighter skin too, so maybe that's less. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that there's not fair skinned people everywhere around the world, but it's yeah, I don't know. I always told you look like from like Lithuania or something like that. You know, Slovenia.
I don't know.
I'm from Slovenia.
Well,
You could totally go for like Slovenian.
aren't they tall?
I mean, there's short people everywhere in this world. There's
No,
tall people
but the
everywhere.
average, because
There's like
I'm
short
tiny.
Dutch
So,
people. I'm sure of that.
um,
Wesley Snyders he wasn't tall. He's Dutch.
Frankie was saying also looking for red alternatives. Currently trying Naptol. Red.
Oh yeah, that one I've heard bad things. Naphthol, naphthol red, naphthalene.
Liet was saying, Frankie, check out Pyral Red. I remember reading that it was better than Naptol.
Yeah.
Can't remember why. I think light fastness. Not sure.
Yeah, I trust my painter friend Anastasia. She said it was crap, so I'll trust her. She's very sensitive to color, so I'll trust her 100% on that.
Rafael Nogueira was saying, estaba diciendo, hola Dani y Nico, amo tus videos, abrazos de Brasil.
Uy, Brasil.
Un abrazo, Rafael.
Brasil.
Mario J was saying, when I was at gambling, I had mixed feelings about the waste, but making 10 to 15,000 tubes worth of paint a day, plus medium solvents and inks, gambling didn't do bad with waste.
Okay.
Bad. I mean, not good, but not horrible. But I guess they have to have like certain things to.
I'm sure that industries that make paint, that produce paint,
like
they
have an obligation.
Obligated to deal at least with like certain percentages of. I mean, they'll probably have to meet quota.
Yeah, I guess there's industries that go further than what they're asked for.
Some,
like,
yeah, I would say some.
Yes,
I mean, if it's cost,
but I think that at least
if it's expensive, that's the moment where they're like, oh, we just do enough.
But I think that at least they have to like do something so that they can let them work.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be part of an industry that makes paint, yeah, you have to abide by certain rules, I'm sure.
And Mario was saying, also, I can't speak for other companies, but the cadmiums gambling use are fused with other metals.
Okay.
Those compounds greatly reduce their toxicity, making them not bioavailable.
Oh, no way.
Bioavailability is the measure by which various substances in the environment may enter into living organisms. I want to say other companies are the same, but I can't say for sure.
I can't say for sure either. That's really cool.
Great information. Yeah, Mario.
I'll look into that. Or if you can find more information about that, that would be awesome.
So I'm just going to open a tab with bioavailability. So you can go crazy, Nicolas, after the live stream.
Yeah.
Googling that.
I'm guessing that like more hand sort of produced paints like Rublev or Michael Harding even. I don't think they do that sort of stuff. I wouldn't wouldn't imagine them doing that sort of stuff. I'd be surprised if they do. So that's like super interesting.
Uy, hace rato no teníamos la visita de alguien por acá. Cuando
No
hay,
sé qué vas a decir.
a ver, el opuesto de un adiós dulce.
Margo, buen día.
Ay, pensé
Estuve
que ibas a
bien.
decir hola amargo. Pues o sea,
Pues, pero,
hola amargo,
o sea, lo importante era que yo
adiós
supiera
dulce.
a quién te
Sí,
referías.
pero o sea, hola amargo, ¿qué tal? Tiempo sin tener amargo acá, ¿no?
Sí, tristes
Tiempos.
días. Sin ella.
Cody Winnicky was saying, ha ha ha, gouache rocks. Yeah, they are rocks. I mean, but you can hydrate gouache very easily. Well, you should use
I'm sure
more.
there's a point where you can't anymore.
No, because and if you're only using water, you're just like diluting
Exactly.
it and diluting it and diluting it.
Yeah, and gouache oxidizes. So
Yeah.
at some point, it just doesn't work anymore.
Let's see. Marcelo Peralta was saying you can always go with earthy reds for less toxicity.
For legs?
For less toxicity, no?
I think so. Yeah, but that's then you have to ask yourself
Sacrifice.
if you want your starting point, your palette that becomes like your starting point. If you want it to be a starting point that is void of saturation, which doesn't, like, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people will want to at least have the possibility to saturate their palette, to saturate their mixes if they want to. That's not quite my case. I think I have a tendency to be very, very earthy. So I could commit to just saying like, hey, I'm sorry, but that's my palette from now on. It's just an earthy palette. And that should be totally fine. But yeah, for a lot of people, they much rather their origin of mixing be saturated and then, decide how much saturation they want in their mixes rather than not having that at all.
So, Agle was saying people are blonde, blue-eyed, and extremely tall in Lithuania. So
no.
And
Slovenia.
and-
I know that Baltic and no, and that's
Andrei
up north.
Blason Art was saying, Nicolas,
Yes.
I'd never mistake Danny for a Slovenian girl if I saw her here.
Jesus Christ.
Couldn't happen.
I'm sorry.
I'm just Colombian.
Okay. There has to be dark-haired Slovenian girls. Slovenian women.
But that's like,
they're blonde, but there has to be a dark-haired girl. I mean, it's impossible that there's not a dark hair. Are they all lighter? Do they all have light eyes?
No, well, not all. I think
that's what I'm saying.
Nowadays, you can't generalize. But if you're talking about looking like the
stereotype,
stereotype of a place, and they're all blonde and tall and blue-eyed, then no.
Like I said, Wesley Snyder's short, and he's
that's why I'm saying it's not
Dutch.
like you can't be
right
out of that stereotypical look, but
look,
that's why
she's Slovenian. Look,
she doesn't look like me. She looks Colombian, but
there we go. That's it. I rest my case. I rest my case. I rest my case.
Nicolas,
in the same sentence, you said she doesn't look like me. She looks Colombian. You know why you said that? Because you look Slovenian.
No.
Because you look Slovenian.
No. You were saying she looks like you, but just because she looks Colombian.
I'm saying
she looks similar
that was
to
a Slovenian.
Someone you can
that
see.
That was an article that said how to pick up Slovenian women.
But she does not look like me at all.
She was closer to your type than somebody who's blonde and light eyes.
So that's the case that I don't look Slovenian.
They used her like how to pick up Slovenian women. So she was exemplifying a Slovenian woman that you would want to pick up. I'm sorry.
Morris was saying there is not one dark-haired person in Slovenia. 100% true. Source? I just made it up.
Okay, yeah. Come on.
Um,
You're Slovenian for me. Slovenian. Let me see. Slovenian to Spanish.
¿Qué vas a decir?
Wait.
Pues al revés, ¿no? Spanish
Yeah.
to.
Right. Well, my Slovenian is a little rusty, so.
What are you doing, Nicolas?
Okay.
So try to do the pronunciation because you're gonna butcher it.
So who's our Slovenian friend?
Andrei Blazon.
Andrei. So Andrei, please rate my Slovenian. Zelo si slepa in stotna Slovenka.
¿Otra vez?
Daniela. Zelo si slepa in stotna Slovenka.
Celos.
Daniela.
¿Y qué? ¿Qué estás
Celos te
diciendo?
tengo.
Ay, Nicolas.
So let's wait. Let's wait for the. Let's wait.
I think it says Andrei Blazon
Has left the
unsubscribed.
building.
Yeah.
Left the building. Don't you love that I just said Slovenian
And Lithuanian.
and somebody was like,
yeah,
well,
okay, no.
somebody was like, hey, I'm from there.
Yeah.
No, you like randomly.
I mean, that's the power of the internet nowadays.
I know.
So where were we before? Julia.
Albanian. You could be Albanian.
Now there's gonna be someone.
You could be Albanian.
Actually,
Yeah, I want to hear from Albanians in the house. You could be Albanian. And I've always said you could be Israeli.
you're just saying
I'm just saying, yeah, I'm
places
just saying places
now.
in the world. Yeah. Antarctican.
Albanian. Who's? Oh. Well, Dua Lipa is Albanian.
I mean,
I don't look like her, but she's beautiful, so
you could be Albanian.
thank you. Julia dice, me pasó algo triste.
¿Qué pasó,
Me dieron
Julia?
unas acuarelas súper viejas de mi abuela con una cajita de metal.
Ay,
Yo vi
Julia.
que estaban tiesas y las boté y luego caí en la cuenta de que las pude haber revivido con agua.
No sé cuánto una acuarela. Pues de
Ay,
pronto, un
Julia,
poquito.
Pero igual las acuarelas, pues las que vienen en pasta siempre están tiesas. Pero
Sí.
Julia, tengo una historia también triste. No sé si Julia sabía esta historia. Yo compré unas, las he contado 1000 veces, entonces la cuento muy
Sí,
muy
sigue,
resumida.
vuelve a contar.
Compré unas que eran caras, así chiquita, cada cuadrito. Me fui a la universidad, al día siguiente tenía la entrega, la iba a hacer con eso. Cuando llegué de la universidad, mi mamá me dijo, uy, tenías súper sucio ahí, tenías unos tarritos llenos de cosas, pero tiesos ya, todo estaba súper sucio y te lo lavé. Y yo, pues mi mamá les echó agua y agua y agua hasta que dejó
Hasta que los disolvió.
las cajitas vacías.
Ujú.
Entonces, todos nos pasa, Julia, pero pues bueno. ¿Y guardó así sea la cajita, Julia?
Mi mamá tenía una caja de aluminio
Ujú.
que era de mi abuelo, pero yo creo que ella la botó. Una caja de aluminio que era de las pinturas de mi abuelo.
Ujú.
Y a mí me hubiera encantado. Pero esa cajita era vuelta a nada.
Pero pinturas...
¿Óleos?
¿Ah, sí?
Sí, yo me acuerdo cuando chiquito había pintura en esa cajita.
Ay, muy chévere.
Sí. Pero yo estoy casi seguro que eso se botó hace mucho, mucho tiempo.
So, Andrei Blazon was saying,
Andrei!
great. You even got my region dialect for a split second. Ha ha ha. So, I'm gonna go feed Chili.
Okay.
And I'll be back in a sec. So I'll leave you with a question.
Okay, please, thank you.
Let me see.
Anything else that you need for me to clear up in Slovenian?
Well, maybe Andrei has a a question in Slovenian for
Oh
you.
yeah, if he talks slowly, I understand it, but slowly. It has to be like, give me time to.
Mírala, ella está sentada ahí esperando la comida. Mírala, mírala.
Mi amor,
Mírala acá un
no,
segundo,
no, mi
solo
amor, no, mi
voltea.
amor. Por principio no voy a voltear porque ahora cada cosa
Bueno,
que
y
hace
por
me dices,
principio,
mírala,
yo no voy a
mírala,
hacer pregunta. Mentiras.
mírala,
Mira,
mírala,
Eliu Ha
mírala.
dice: Hola, tengo una pregunta importante. Espero
Sí,
que puedas
señora.
responderla. ¿Qué
Sí, o
silla
persona.
usas? ¿O qué tipo de silla recomiendas para pintar o dibujar por horas? Gracias.
Tengo, tuve una silla gamer que salió pésima, la verdad. Sí, me gasté un jurgo de plata. Pues no un jurgo de plata, pues sí era más costosa que una silla normal, pues. Y,
Me dijiste que era buenísima. Me la hiciste comprar.
mi amor, yo le creí a los
Pero
comentarios.
dile.
Que Dani dice que que le dije que era buenísima y que hice que ella la comprara.
Hiciste comprar porque dijiste que tenía mala voz.
Mentira, yo no puedo obligar a Dani a hacer absolutamente nada en esta vida. Entonces, pero no, me salió pésima, pero es la silla que ahora usa Samu, mi hijo. Él, él la tiene vuelta a nada, o sea, pero lo bueno es que él tiene 15 años, entonces el cuerpo de él puede aguantar cualquier tipo de, o sea, él podría dormir encima de una botella rota, entonces no importa. Pero después de esa que me estaba molestando mucho la espalda, no sé por qué, me compré como una silla de oficina y me ha ido mejor con esa silla de oficina. No tiene nada especial. O sea, es como medio ergonómica y tiene como un cosito en la espalda, pero es re normal. Comparada a la silla gamer que tenía, que debería ser mucho mejor y era mucho más costosa, eh, esta es muchísimo más simple y me ha ido muchísimo mejor. Entonces, esta no la he cambiado. Y ahora Samu me dice que si le puedo conseguir una como la mía. Entonces, yo creo que él ya se está empezando a quejar de la de él, la verdad. La tuya te incomoda. Sí, porque Dani todavía la usa. Sí. No te preocupes, Daniel Ira. Super hard to find the right type of balance between being expressive with what you want to paint, but also careful. Uh, I think that that's always the type of painting that I would want to do, but I always realize how difficult it is for me that I'm heavy-handed to find that good place where it can speak about those two things. Like there's a mindfulness of where shapes or where strokes should be, but but there's also like this reactive quality to the paint where you just feel like um you're freely sort of painting, that it feels that your painting feels incredibly fresh, or it gives the illusion of being incredibly fresh. I think that that's probably a better way of describing it. I want to hint that eye, but that seems a little too specific. Dani, ¿qué haces allá? Déjala así. Pues deja, linda. No le va a pasar nada. Okay, that's a little bit better. A little bit. Not a lot of it.
I'm back. Um, Morris was saying, "What's
Mhm.
up? I
Hey,
heavily
Morris.
recommend Rebel 6 if you were ever to get into digital painting. It's the best software medium wise. You can paint in pasto, wet and wet. It's got charcoal, markers, everything."
Oh, very cool. I don't think I've tried it.
And they're saying, "I'm not sponsored."
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. If you like it,
Yeah,
I
the
can
app
give
is
you a
under my name. Yeah.
discount code. Yeah.
No, I've been wanting to use is it heavy paint, heavy poly?
Mm.
Yeah. That one I really love how it looks. I really like it. So, I love the look of it. So, that one I think I've if I were to choose one that I would want to learn how to use properly or how to like push, I would want to use that one.
Robin Sita West 13 was
Mhm.
saying, "I'm not trying to be snarky,
Oh,
but I've
100%
not been
Robin
able
Sita.
to find a non solvent wax here, but I'd love to be able to. So stinky."
Robin though, you no. I was gonna say, but no. Even if you buy natural wax, um, they will have solvent. Like you do have to dissolve wax. Wax by nature, you can heat it up, and it can be liquid form. But as soon as it cools down, it's hard again. So I was gonna say that the wax that you can find, the natural, 100% natural wax that you can find for polishing stuff, that it has like beeswax and carnauba. Even that wax, you have to put solvent in it, and it's usually turpentine because other solvents make it super cloudy, the wax. So it's not as easy as we think living a solvent-free life.
Marcelo Peralta was saying, "I couldn't get a spot.
Marcelo.
I couldn't get
Marcelo.
a spot.
Peralta.
I couldn't get a spot in the Brazilian workshop. I snoozed and loosed, I guess. But I'll
Oof.
keep an eye on the next ones. That will sure happen."
Marcelo,
Marcelo
I'm
se
offended.
durmió.
I'm offended. Ofendido.
Camila Ogorman was saying, "Dani, baking soda con vinagre saca todo."
Cualquier cosa,
Sí,
si
nosotros
uno le
acá
crea
también lo
eso,
usamos, sí.
uno dice eso es bueno para lo que sea. Toca destapar, no importa.
Julia
Bicarbonato y vinagre.
was saying, "I do use only vinegar and baking soda to clean the house. And aceite del árbol de té."
No, unas onces. Julia lo puede invitar a uno. Un momento que voy a limpiar la casa, pero sírvanse. Bien
Guillaume
puedan.
was saying, "Clean but not Danny clean." And a
Yeah.
laughing emoji.
Yeah, that means something here.
Eliu Ha dice, "Soy streamer en TikTok y dibujo por horas, pero mi silla no es cómoda y quiero comprar una adecuada porque me duele el estómago después de la segunda hora sentado."
No, bueno.
Ay, Eliu Ha.
Eh,
Pero no sé.
Primero dejemos la flojera, Eliuja. A las 2 horas sentados ya nos quedamos del estómago. No. ¿Qué es eso? O sea, y yo ya estoy viejo.
Bueno,
Eso
yo
nos
me estoy
toca.
quejando del estómago, ahora
No, tú eres
está
fatal.
una hora
Tus
parada,
posturas,
una hora
tus
sentada, una
posturas
hora...
son
Acá
horrorosas.
estoy súper cómoda.
No, yo aquí.
¿Saben? Yo estaba buscando una silla. No, es que no
No, tú
tengo
no
mi
has estado
celular
buscando
acá.
una silla. Tú ya
Sí,
tienes una silla que no la has traído.
no, pero esa no es la que estoy diciendo. He estado buscando una silla para mi escritorio,
Entonces, ¿qué vamos a traer,
hasta
linda?
una silla que ya había comprado antes.
Por eso,
O sea,
entonces,
esta que estoy buscando no es para reemplazar la gamer,
la que va a venir de
la
tu
que había.
casa que ya habías comprado.
No, mi amor, esa es para reemplazar esta. Porque es que yo me siento para acá en una silla que es muy linda, pero es de metal. O sea, esta vaina me duele en la espalda, la cola, por eso me siento en un cojín.
Mm.
Pero la otra que he estado viendo para mi
Sí,
escritorio,
señora.
vi el precio y pues se me quitaron las ganas de comprarla.
Ah, ¿cómo?
Es una silla para poderse sentar al revés, al
Ah, no, mi amor,
derecho.
no. Ah, yo sé que a ti esas
No,
cosas te
no es
fascinan.
la de rodillas.
No, mi amor,
Mi amor,
a ti te
igual,
encantan esos productos.
si algún día
No, sí.
me gano un chance que
Mm,
nunca compro,
mm.
me la compro.
No, pues tú puedes comprar lo que te dé la
Pero es
gana.
que es muy cara.
No, yo sé, pero ya vi la pobrecilla aquí usada para subirla, para colgar la ropa,
No.
para montarnos en la silla únicamente para colgar la ropa en el
Dice
tendedero.
el que compró la silla gamer y después la...
Era una con propósitos profesionales.
Pues sí, y yo te hice caso
Pues ese es
a
tu
la
problema.
semana de que tú usaras,
Ese es tu
porque me
problema.
dijiste, de verdad, esto te va a cambiar la
¿Quién es
vida, tu
peor? ¿El que hace
postura, yo no sé
huevonadas o
qué.
el que confía en el que hace
Pues yo
huevonadas?
confío en ti siempre.
¿Ves? ¿Ves? Ese es tu primer problema.
Y yo sigo con esa silla.
Por eso,
Tú dijiste, no, me compro otra.
pues claro.
Yo, en cambio,
No, pues porque me estaba
he buscado y
muriendo.
buscado y buscado,
Se me dormían las piernas.
he buscado y buscado y buscado, hasta que encontré una que me encanta, pero se sale de mi
No, es
presupuesto.
que tú buscas, pero no dentro de un presupuesto. Entonces tú hay veces encuentras cosas fantásticas que uno dice, pues bueno, lo encontraste, pero ¿y qué?
Sí.
En cambio yo busco, yo me pongo un presupuesto primero y luego compro lo que no es, se lo regalo a Samu,
Y luego
te
compras
engaño a ti
lo primero que
y
encontraste en
luego me
internet.
meto a Mercado Libre y el primer usuario que
Silla que
diga esta
llegué
silla es
hoy.
buena, sí, esta silla, entrega inmediata,
Sí,
ligeramente usada,
sí.
esa es la mía.
Experiencia del vendedor,
Sí, tiene,
durable.
tiene mi...
Está en
Mire,
rojo.
antes de comprar, mire si su culo se adapta a la
Oye,
imprenta del rabo que yo
hablando,
dejé.
hablando, hablando de eso, me da mucha risa porque pues yo no saco el celular cuando salgo al parque, entonces no te he podido mostrar, pero al frente de la iglesia hay dos como bancas de hierro.
No, pues deben estar
No, mi amor, no, escúchame porque esto es muy
culipronteadas.
curioso. O sea, hay una normal,
Ajá,
como con la cosa como ornamental en la parte de abajo.
creo que te entiendo, sí.
Es una silla de dos puestos, ornamental, así como sus florecitas, igual que el espaldar. Y la otra de al lado, un puesto es así y el otro puesto tiene un hueco.
Un hueco.
O sea, pero está un hueco en hierro, no es como que se abrió un hueco de tanto poner las nalgas, sino que es un hueco en hierro, como
Ajá.
si fuera un inodoro.
Bueno, de
O sea,
pronto,
silla y la otra es una silla con un hueco.
de
¿Tú me puedes
pronto,
explicar eso para qué funciona?
no sé, toca preguntarle al
No he
párroco.
podido entender y me da mucha curiosidad si de pronto alguien de acá sabe.
No, pero mi amor,
Voy a
o
tomar
sea,
una foto en estos días.
algo se dañó o algo se
No,
rompió
no, mi
y
amor,
nunca lo han
porque
arreglado.
no, porque el círculo tiene como el mismo hierro fundido alrededor, o sea, ese es el diseño de la silla.
No, pero no puede haber un hueco que
Te lo prometo, es
tiene
un
que
hueco
rezar y
así de
cagar al
grande.
tiempo.
No, porque no es dentro de la iglesia, pero es un hueco así de grande.
Sí. ¿O será para la gente que tiene hemorroides, como para los viejitos?
No, mi amor, porque habría una silla para hemorroides.
¿No es más cómodo para
No, y además la
los
hemorroide está
viejitos?
por estar sentado al aire así en mucho tiempo.
O de pronto para los que están operados, los que llegan como con
No
operación
sé
de
si de
algo,
pronto, a ver, sí, de pronto esto es
eso
como,
libera la
esto de pronto
presión.
tiene un uso,
Un uso
como que alguien es como, hey,
geriátrico.
respeten, esto es tal cosa.
Es un uso
No, no
geriátrico.
estoy siendo grosera con eso, solo me da mucha curiosidad,
100%.
porque además cuando veo toda la gente se sienta en los tres puestos de alrededor, pero nunca en ese,
No, pues porque no.
porque se
Uno ahí
van.
estaría diciendo, no, a mí me duele la próstata. Uno se está
Ay.
delatando ahí súper rápido, sentándose en ese puesto.
Sí, si alguien sabe, me cuenta. A ver, ¿qué dicen? Carlo was saying, do you guys know about Caneta Azul?
¿Ah?
No,
No. ¿Qué es eso?
no sé. No sé si es un color, no sé, de pronto es un artista. A ver,
¿Un grupo?
no sé.
¿Un grupo de K-pop?
Album by Manuel Gómez, it says here. No creo que sea esto.
No, mi amor, no creo. No
De
creo.
pronto es el nombre de una pintura.
O sea, una marca.
Es que no sé.
Pero tú, ¿por qué te metiste a lo primero, el primer link y tú ni la piensas? Tú dices, este es, este. Ya les digo qué es, ya les
Mira.
cuento.
No, es como, ¿sabes qué es?
Una
Dice
silla
que
con
es
un
como,
hueco.
no, como los esferos Big,
Sí.
pero el azul. Pero entonces hay un señor
Ajá.
que se llama Joab Manuel Caneta Azul.
Ajá.
No, Joab Manuel, Joab
Sí.
Manuel Gómez,
Sí.
pero
Chili,
hizo
¿qué
una
es eso?
canción, creo que se llama Caneta Azul. Sí, no sé, mi amor. O sea, solo estoy viendo al señor posando con el Big.
Ajá. Con un
Entonces,
esfero.
sí,
Chili,
literal
pero ¿y
con
qué
el
hago,
esfero.
Chili?
Ven, Chili, vente alzo, ven, Chili.
¿Qué quiere que haga, Chili?
Em, Sean Farley was saying the Dutch definitely think so.
Native.
Um, Sean Farley was saying Agle has the tall part at least.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
laughing. Is Agle tall?
She's very tall. Well, not very tall. Because when you say very tall, it sounds like, you know, abnormally tall. No, no, no.
No,
She's,
but I guess I mean here in Colombia we're short in
yeah.
average, so I know why you say very tall, because we're used to short people. I'm tall here. No, I'm joking. I'm short everywhere. Um. So Liet was saying, I don't think gouache oxidizes.
No?
Mm, see more about your guess of me being a Slovenian. Um,
It's not a guess. It's like an educated statement.
yeah, an educated wrong statement, but a
Still
ver,
bet on
Margo
it.
Delgado dice, me alegra mucho acompañarlos en directo otra vez, los echaba de menos. Desde que la campanita decidió no funcionar, me pierdo
Ush.
muchos directos.
Ajá.
Uy, Marlo.
Eso es
Marlo,
Marlo. Marlo
Margo,
Brando.
Margo. No, Margo.
Esa se la cree solo usted. Esa disculpa,
Sí.
Margo. Marlo le iba a decir ahorita.
¿Y por qué? Iba Margo y Delgado. Me fui Marlo.
Marlon Brando, sí.
Marlo de... Ay, Margo, esa excusa no...
Se la cree ella.
Sí, no aplica. Pero bueno, igual es bueno tener a Margo acá. De nuevo. Todd Keffer was saying, first time watching you guys live. So excited to receive the male figure academic study I purchased from you guys a few months ago. Thank you for doing what you do.
Okay, but you received it already, right?
So excited to receive the male figure
Okay.
academic study I purchased from you guys a few months ago.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you.
support. Thank you for generosity. We're always like super, super grateful
And
for
you're
the people
very
that.
welcome to all our live streams, of course.
Yes, of course.
Let's see. So, I don't know the pronunciation.
Do you need my help? Is it Slovenian?
No, because I can't read the characters of it. So I'm gonna Google. Masha.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Masha.
Russian?
So Masha was saying, I could see Ukrainian.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe.
Told you.
Morris was saying Polish, definitely. Polish, Hungarian.
Hungarian?
Hungarian. I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
I went with Colombian. Polish,
No, not
Hungarian,
Colombian.
with a dash of Spanish. But I do look Colombian, no?
I
mean,
mean,
jokes
what does that
aside.
mean? But what does that mean? There's not like a prototype. I don't think there's like
Prototype.
a stereotype. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a stereotype Colombian looking. I mean, we're very Latin, but not in all regions are, Latin Colombian women like dark skin, dark hair. I don't, they're very different.
But
The
I
thing
think
is,
that nowadays everywhere in the world it's
I know,
very
I know. So
complicated.
stereotype. That's why I'm saying like stereotype. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, if people think like Sofia Vergara is like your typical like, because she is from the coast, so she would probably embody a more I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
No, I mean, I think she's 100% Colombian, and I'm
yeah,
100% Colombian. It's just that
yeah, but
it's a broad definition.
yeah, but my three sisters, I would say 100% Colombian, and they're all different.
Luisa can look.
She's like my equivalent in the sense that she's blonde and, fair skinned. So it's like, okay, that's, that doesn't quite fit. But I don't know.
But the thing that makes me curious is that I remember when I was traveling to visit my sister in the United States.
Yeah.
I remember there were some friends of my sister friend
What? Okay.
that were curious about where I was from.
Okay. Did you
They were
say,
like, "Oh no,
could you
so
guess?
no," and they were like, "Oh no. I know that you're Colombian because I know now that you're her sister," and they knew my sister,
Yeah.
or they knew at least that she was Colombian, but they had no idea where I was
Oh, you should have
from.
asked that. You should have been
Yeah.
like, okay, you have 3 guesses.
And they would say Slovenian.
Lithuanian, Albanian, or Slovenian?
Yeah.
Or Israeli.
Yeah.
And you could be like, well, my mother was Slovenian.
Well, actually,
Yeah, my dad Ukrainian, and I was
I'm
born in
Colombian
Lithuania.
and very Colombian. Julia Tovar dice, sí había escuchado la historia, jaja, pero siempre me divierte escucharla. Pues justo la vacié porque quería usar la cajita de paleta portátil. Bueno, o sea, igual quedó la cajita.
Quedó el...
Bueno, tú
Bueno,
sí.
sí. Dígase eso usted misma, Julita.
Uy, pero ¿y yo cómo hago para que tú leas esto?
Yeah,
Andrei was saying, try this, Nico.
Okay.
So, let me move the camera.
Not the screen.
What? The camera, I'm sorry, the screen.
I was like, why are you moving the camera?
Yeah, no, Danny, I don't want you to show me reading.
Okay, right there. So let me try. Danielita, yerreselo lepa. Okay, am I saying I'm going to trust you? I'm hoping that this is not something indecent. So, Danielita, yerreselo lepa, se posebej na moji silka.
Slika. So that is, let's Google.
Danny, your feet smell like mushrooms.
They don't. Actually, I have to say they don't smell like anything ever. So that's like a good thing for me.
Like mushrooms from my grandmother's village.
So no, they were being nice. They were saying Danielita is really very beautiful, especially in my pictures, so in your paintings.
Oh, gee, in my pictures.
Does
he have a folder?
No, it's not like
Is Andrei like keeping a folder of your photos? Blocked.
So thank you. I never know how to.
Well, he was talking about the paintings.
Yeah.
Not you in particular.
No, yeah, the paintings are.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm,
She is very big.
Cachafaya
Mhm.
was saying, greetings one all, ¿cómo le va?
¿Qué dice? ¿Qué cuenta?
Guillaume Lheureux
La la.
was saying, yeah, heavy poly.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
That's software for digital painting,
Ah,
Danny.
es que no entendí. Yo decía heavy polish, ahora me
Yeah,
veo
so now I'm a heavy.
polished.
So I'm a heavy pole now. Is that what you're saying?
Liet was saying, I feel like Rebel tries too hard to be like real paint sometimes. Embracing the medium you are in, like digital, is the way to go.
Yeah, I think I understand that. And
But I
Leah
think,
does digital work,
yeah,
so
I think it would be interesting to see it. I mean, because I have no idea about it, so.
I've seen some digital work by Leah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
The
what's it called?
thing, the Rebel,
What's it? How's it spelled?
Rebelle.
Oh, como re
Rebelle,
bonito,
rebelle,
re
sí,
bonito.
rebel.
Sí, re bonito, re bonito.
Um, eh, Mary S. was saying, listening to you talk about your painting process, balancing expressiveness and mindfulness in your response to the paint. And I wonder if or how different that process feels to you when you're painting with acrylic or other fast drying mediums.
Oof. I'm never at my best when and I say at my best because I don't refer to like my ability, but I'm a little overwhelmed by trying to figure out how, to paint, how to adjust to those mediums when I'm using them. So I always feel like I'm lagging behind my painting rather than actually being in somewhat control over the painting. So, yeah, that's very tough. But I think my personality lends itself to being expressive, regardless of the medium, regardless of the nature of the paint that I'm using. So,
Mm, Jatuki001
Jutaki,
was saying, hi, Nicolas and Danny. Hey, Jatuki, how are you? And Jatuki was saying, Nicolas, I'm almost done painting
Jutaki.
my hippo.
Oh, we got to see it.
Mm, Cachafaya was saying, I speak Spanish like a French cow on dope.
Okay. Yeah, that's checks.
Sergi Arts dice, os acompaño mientras estudio algo de anatomía. La pintura se ve tremenda. Y unos emojis
Tan
que
amable
voy a
siempre.
describirlos. Es como un gatico haciendo
Como el del el gato con botas.
No, como,
Es lo máximo ese
como,
gato.
de pronto es más así, es
Uy,
más
diciendo, uy, perro.
como así mirando
Un
de
gato
lado.
diciendo, uy, perro, estaba chévere lo que estaba.
Una señora rosada
¿La bailando?
cogiéndose así. No, es que son unos emojis que no existen en el celular.
Ah, entonces, ¿dónde existen?
En,
¿En YouTube?
sí,
¿YouTube tiene
en
emojis
el chat de YouTube,
personalizados?
sí.
What?
Unos fantasmitas azules jalándose los ojos así de admiración.
Pero este
Y
es,
un
o sea,
cocodrilo.
un jurgo de cosas que no conozco.
Míralos, a ver, espera. Súper importante.
Sí.
Los conozcas, mira.
What? Parecen como cereal.
Son lindos.
Sí. Nunca había visto.
Bueno, y nos estaba diciendo, la pintura se ve tremenda. Me
Tan
hacen
amable.
mucha gracia estos emojis de YouTube. Ah, mira, estaba hablando de eso.
Ah,
A mí me parecen chéveres, están chéveres.
sí,
Me
están
gustan.
bonitos.
Liat was saying, gouache uses the same binder as watercolor. The pigment
So
is
gum.
ground up more, coarse.
Okay.
And I... Oh, so wait. I'm just cutting the text. That's what's happening. And I think
Yeah.
it has a few additives, which is why it doesn't always reactivate to the same creaminess.
Yeah. So it doesn't transform. Does gum ever transform? Does gum Arabic or gum, whatever gum they use for both, gouache and watercolor? Because I'm guessing it's the same, right? I don't know too much about the vehicles for gouache and watercolor. I know it's gum-based paint, but does it not transform in any way? No. So in theory, if I was using a 200 year-old watercolor, like little chip, is that totally fine? Like that's perfect. That had been used before. That is as good as it was when it was new. I didn't know why I went up there with my new.
You
Yeah.
went very Bogotano.
Yeah, I don't
Rollo.
know. I don't know.
Todd Keffer was saying, yes, I got it a while ago.
Mhm.
Carefully packed too. Oh, I have to say, Todd, I was scared
That you hadn't gotten
that you
it?
hadn't got it. Yeah, and I was like,
it's horrifying.
months ago, Todd, please contact us before.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
scared now.
horrifying.
Yeah. But I'm happy to know that you have it.
Yes.
And that you received it carefully packaged.
Well, yeah,
because
reached
we
you
do.
Yeah, it
'cause-
reached you safely. That's super
Yeah.
important for us.
Eli U. Ja dice, son los mejores, jajaja, gracias. Todo un tema con lo de las sillas.
Sí.
Todo un tema.
Todo un tema.
Yo sigo con el tema ahí, pullándome la espalda y las nalgas cuando
Pero no has
trabajo,
querido
pero
traer la que era tu silla que
esa
dijiste
solo
que
la voy a usar para aquí,
no importa, pero
no
no,
para allá.
pero no importa, no la has querido traer.
No he querido, no, se me olvidó.
Ah, bueno.
Liad was saying Danny could be Israeli.
I know.
And Liad was saying, I painted Danny once.
Oh,
And Liad was saying, if I'm trying to paint digitally but look like paint,
Yeah.
I personally like Art Rage.
Okay.
But Art Rage isn't great for watercolor, but I like it for oil paint. As far as I know, Gum Arabic is always able to reactivate.
Always. Wow. I'm going to look into that. Okay, and I trust you. I trust you with this. I just don't know enough about gum. So, I'm going to read a little bit more. See what I find.
Andrei Blason Art was saying, you were saying it, man.
Dude.
I'm going to read it like that, not like you were saying it, man.
Dude, you're the only one who doesn't trust my my Slovenian. I have no idea why you are so doubtful that I had a good Slovenian many years ago.
Andrei Blason was also saying, checking out this Rebel 6, and it really does imitate oils like I've never seen before.
No way. I mean, there's a bunch of software that is pretty good now. I'll have to check it out. But I think I'm with Liad on this one though. That I don't know if I care too much about my digital tools imitating analog tools. I don't really care for that. I like my digital to do things that digital can do. If I wanted to do, oil paint, I would probably just grab some oil paint and that's it. But yeah, I'd be more interested in what it allows me to do that oil paint wouldn't be able to do or watercolor wouldn't be able to do.
But I also find it fascinating to know about like a software that was able to imitate
I mean
oil.
It's quite a feat.
Like super accurately.
Yeah. It'll I mean, these are things that, give us 40 years and there is going to be software and there is going to be a printer that can print from that software that, in 50 years.
And I do agree with you.
I can't imagine not it looking, people are going to be like, they won't be able to tell if it's a painting, like did you use oil paint for that?
Or did
you use whatever
software,
3D software and inks and whatever it is that we, at that point, we as humanity are going to be beginning to try and understand and use.
Yeah, and I think that in that case, the only difference would be in what you like to use the most. Because in my case, I always miss the physicality of doing things.
Yeah.
Because I remember when you told me, oh, you can sculpt in ¿cómo se llama? Como el visor ese. El,
Oh, in 3D in VR.
in VR, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I would love to see it, but I would never give up the physicality
Right.
of carving or like feeling the
Yeah.
things and like painting and feeling the paint and yeah,
Yeah. I think that
I don't know.
that's us because we look at those things from a very traditional like painting philosophy. But what we fail to see is that there's going to be generations that are born without the need to grab a brush,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't miss it because they were never taught how to feel about it or
No, I
how.
think that even happens when people go to college and nowadays they use a computer
Yeah.
and they don't miss having a notebook,
Yeah.
which for me, I need my hand to be moving
Yeah.
so I can pay attention. Like I can pay more attention, like close attention to the things I'm doing. If I'm writing in the computer, it's not the same for me.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, I mean, you're right, because there's a lot of people that they don't miss having a pencil. They're like, it's gonna just like slow me down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use a ton of paper. It doesn't make sense. I have to pack like a ton of, like a big amount of notebooks and pens, and I can run out of ink. And in a computer, I don't. So,
Yeah. I've told this is a dumb like example, but it's an example that I've noticed with my kids and how different they are from me, and obviously we're generations apart, me and my kids. But uh, like I was when I was a kid, I used to love toys, like physical toys. I
mm,
used to have like Transformers or He-Man, or and my brother had like GI Joes, and we just love the object that a toy was. And I think that being part of that generation that was you know Saturday morning cartoons and toys, that's probably an enormous reason why I collect nowadays, like 1/6 scale figures and statues, because they're very much what I love about, like, when I think of my imagination and what spurred my imagination when I was a kid was just that toys were the physical embodiment of something that you would imagine, and they were amazing. But my son, and I thought that he would feel the same way about toys when he was little, and he did. He liked those Schleich animals and the Papo dinosaurs, like Schleich and Papo, like animals and dinosaurs. He used to love those things. I used to love that he loved those animals. But eventually, when he, for example, started playing video games, like he would have the same sense of ownership with a skin in Fortnite than he would have with a physical toy.
yeah, that for me
It's
is,
redefining.
yeah,
That's
it's
not a
crazy.
small thing. Like, for Samu, something that doesn't exist, like that I deem it not existing because it's not what I understand to be physical. So for me, it would be like, what a waste of money. Why am I buying like a stupid skin if it's not a thing that you could put on a shelf? For me, things that you could put on a shelf, like you could have them for as long as you want. Like my brother has Star Wars figures that he has had for, 50 years. I don't know, for 40 something years. So, yeah, not 50 years, but for, 40 years. And that to me is like, yeah, that's something that you can grow with. But for Samu, the same sense of ownership and like it being something was, me giving him a skin of, Fortnite or Overwatch or whatever video game he was playing. Like, that's a thing for him. So for me, it's been so strange to understand
Yeah,
how they interpret physicality,
yeah.
how things are defined for him.
Yeah, it's weird because I do remember when at the beginning, when I was telling you, I want to give something to Samu. And you were like, oh, give him like a digital card for the like to purchase something on PlayStation or whatever. And I felt so weird because
Yeah, it
I was
feels
like,
lame.
uh, and do I like send him a code? Because I wanted to have like a present in the tree. So I
Yeah,
don't
and
know
you
if
want to
you
pack
remember.
it, and you want it
Yeah,
to.
I bought a like a chocolate bar and I
Yeah,
opened it and I create like a little thing like the Charlie and the Chocolate
yeah, the Willy
Factory ticket.
Wonka ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I did like a ticket, and the ticket had the number for the code he was going to use. And he was like, "What's this?" "Oh, yes, for PlayStation. Thank you, Danny." So he was interested in the code. But for me, that was like, I'm not going to give him a number
yeah,
as a gift. Like, it
yeah.
feels weird. It still feels weird for me, if I'm being honest.
No, for me
And I
it's
get it.
been.
I mean, I'm giving a gift to him. So I'm gonna give him something that he wants, not something that I want. But the fact that I can't like grab that thing and give it to him, it's weird.
I know it's very strange,
Yeah.
but that's what I mean by like, it's just for us. It's gonna be, and I think you were the same. Like you probably you had your Franklin and your SpongeBob and
Everything was
like your SpongeBob
physical.
watch. Like
Yeah,
you
like I still have them.
you equate your
So,
memories of childhood with those, and I'm not here saying like the things are important. It's just like the embodiment of a memory of when you were like a happy child, and it could be like a football, or it could be
yeah.
anything. Like this is not about like fancy stuff or no,
No.
nothing. It could be a kind of scrappy plush toy, or it doesn't matter.
I mean, I brought yesterday my childhood toy, which
Yeah,
is
your
a
your
I
your
mean, I have two.
your
It's
your
Franklin
your two
Turtle.
fluffy.
Turtles. I
What are
have
they
them
called?
here.
Your
Plush toys?
yeah, plush, like yeah.
Plush turtles, yeah. So it's Franklin and Arturito.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was at my mother's house and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to bring some toys for Chili." And she grabbed those and
Oh, she was gonna give them to Chili?
she
You
gave
didn't.
Arturito to
Yeah, you
Chili.
didn't tell me that.
Chili came to me with
Yeah.
Arturito in her mouth.
Oh my
And I was like,
god.
"Mom, no, what are you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, she has Arturito." And I was like, "Mom, no." So we had to go for another one. And that's why
Yeah,
now
I
I
was
brought
wondering why you brought them.
the Squidward
Now,
here.
now I understand why you were a little like
No, and I was like,
protective, offended.
I was very offended. And she was like, "Oh, I was going to give her Franklin." And I was like, "No,
The
Mom."
hell are you doing?
And I was like, "Mom, I asked you to take care of them. You're not taking care of them. I have to take them home."
Yeah, I love Chili, but not like this.
Yeah. And I think that in the future, maybe Samu is gonna feel the same
Oh
when
yeah,
he sees like a flashback to what Fortnite was at
yeah,
that time, and he would be talking with his friend like, "Oh, do you remember I had that skin? I love that skin."
yeah, yeah.
So
Who the hell knows? And who the
yeah,
hell knows what kids are going to associate as? Oh, this was so cool. Like what nostalgia is going to be for them in like 50 years or
yeah.
something. Um,
I mean, you bought for me the watch, the SpongeBob watch I
yeah,
had,
that you had when you were a kid. Yeah,
and for me, I mean, I have it there. I don't know if you've seen it. It's
yeah, yeah, yes,
in my
yes.
desk,
Yeah, I've seen it.
hanging there, and I just look at it and I love it. I don't know, I can kind of go back to a lot of memories every time I see it.
Yeah,
And you know what? When I press the little button
yeah. Press
and
the
it
button.
like slides the pan so I can see the time,
Yeah,
that's something that like that's the part that makes me think it's very complicated that it's not a physical thing for them, because I do understand the physicality of it
yeah,
as like a mechanism for my memory, because I click that and the sound and how it feels,
yeah,
it reminds me of my childhood,
yeah,
because that was my clock when I was growing up and I loved it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, eventually books are not gonna mean anything.
no, and maybe Sam was like, "Yeah, well, I don't I don't get attached to a clock or like the sound
No,
of a clock
no,
or
it's very weird. I've noticed with him, I've tried to notice if he remembers like some of the dinosaurs he has, or he has like yearning for some of those things that he has none whatsoever. None,
no. I
none.
think Fer is more attached
A
to
little bit, but she'll,
that, but
but eventually, like around Christmas, she'll like gather stuff that she has, and she'll give it, she'll give it away, and which is very nice, which is it's super cool.
Yeah,
And
but she's not attached to that. She says that her iPad is her baby.
oh yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah,
like, "Where's my baby?"
yeah,
And she goes grab the iPad. I'm sure
yeah,
if there's a fire, Samu would take the computer and fed the iPad.
yeah, and I'll be burning here. um yeah, it's very peculiar.
Yeah.
I'm very interested. Like, I would love to live, like I've always said it, like a floating head on a jar, and just watch like how things change. It would fascinate me to, like, to see like things that I would consider, oh, surely this is stable, or surely this is going to be the norm, just to see how all of those things are going to transform in ways that we're not supposed to even imagine right now, because that's how it goes. You're not supposed to even understand it. I would love to be a part of that. I don't know why I find that exciting too, because I don't get Samu in that sense, but I've bought skins. I've spent money just because, oh, this is a cool armor for
No,
my dude,
and not even that. I
and
mean,
I buy it.
you buy video games
Oh, of course.
and you buy them online because you like them there. You
Yeah, I've stopped buying physical video games
Yeah,
for a
I
long,
mean,
there was a time that I would love the object of a video game, because I think I still associate it with an NES cartridge, or, just the booklet, the instructional booklet that would come with a video game. That shit doesn't matter anymore. But I think my desperately trying to hold on to that sense of an object is why I think we buy art, and we buy like little sculptures from other artists, and why I buy figures and sculptures. I think that there's something there that
hmm.
is like, I don't know, I'm like desperate to hold on to like this coolness of things that I think are super inherent to like these objects.
I mean, to go like to emphasize even more on what we're talking about, like memories and how you can go back to memories with physical things. The painting you're doing is because that book was part of your
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah. Yes, yes. This was
This is like a full circle moment, but I just
yeah.
realized that you were showing me that book
Yes.
because that book was in your mother's house.
Yes. I think we were a very particular family, like very blessed in many ways, but in the sense that, because my father was giving like scholarship to go and do his master's and then do his PhD at the University of Wisconsin. So
That's why you were born
that's
there.
why I was born there, because both my parents were married, and it was even like absurd because my mother was pregnant with my sister when they were over there, but my mother actually traveled back to Colombia to have my sister here, and then traveled back to Wisconsin to
And
be
then
with
she was
my
pregnant with you and had you
yeah, and I
there.
think it was too much of a hassle just going back and forth. So she was like, "Oh no, I'll just have this one and make him American." Um, but because my parents were living there like in the 70s, they could buy comic books, and they could buy children's book, like illustrated children's books, that were not like, you couldn't, those things wouldn't exist here in Colombia around that time. They just wouldn't, like, the markets hadn't opened. They only opened in the early 90s, so that you could import stuff. But before then, you couldn't have any of that. You would have to travel to get, those things. So I grew up looking, flipping through Batman comic books and Justice League comic books, and looking at a bunch of illustrated children's books that were amazing. I mean, it really did feel like I was brought up with art, because it was just something that wasn't there anywhere else. Like, we had Fisher Price houses, and I know this seems like, yeah, that's like every kid in America probably, and I just want to emphasize how, no, but that's not us here in Colombia. Maybe right now, yeah, you could find anything right now, because again, the market's opened.
Yeah, or you could ship it
Yeah, or you could have it
here
shipped or
and
anything.
yeah.
But back then, no, it would, those were very exclusive things. But the only reason we were able to get them is because, my father had the ability to live there quite a long time, and he could have stayed there for as long as he wanted, but he was this is just professional stuff, but he was pissed that in his PhD, like a lot of the credit went to like his teachers instead of him that did a lot of the work, and he had done like research, and it was the same thing. Like there were other teachers that were more famous than him, like more famous scientists than him, so and they were getting all the credit, and he just got really pissed off, and he just he was like, you know what, let's go back home. But he could have stayed there for as long as they wanted. But those objects, like these objects, for me, are like, that's the reason. When I look at a statue of Batman, I know this is like, I'm trying to like justify my purchase of like very decadent statues, but when I see that, I don't see like a statue. I see like, that's why, like, this is why I am who I am. Like, quite literally, it's like, if it wasn't for that character and the way that character was in my life, I wouldn't be painting. There's no chance in hell that I would be doing this painting right now. That has nothing to do with Batman, but has everything to do with Batman. So for me, it's like super important. It's like, I need to acknowledge that that's where I come from. Like those are the things that made me me. And I don't know why reminding myself that that's why I am who I am is like super empowering for me every morning. Like I look at all the cool stuff that surrounds me and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is why I'm an artist. Like this is what made me love and made me want to draw. Because the first drawings that I did, and they were the drawings that I did for many years after that, were just like superheroes and monsters like fighting. I mean, the only reason I'm not doing comic books right now is because I wasn't good at it. And I was very insecure about me becoming good at comic books. But it's funny because the same reason that I had to leave comic books behind as a career was the reason that I, when I saw my teacher paint, I couldn't paint. I had never painted in my life. So I was a horrible painter for years. And for some reason, that didn't scare me. But when I saw myself as a sucky ass comic book artist, that scared me. I was like, no, this is not for me. But when I saw painting, I was like, I know I'm not good, but this is for me. So it's very strange. It's very, very strange.
No,
Anyways,
but I get it. I mean, because I think that comics were like sacred for you at that moment.
I think it's what
so
they
it would pain
meant.
you.
Yeah.
Like it pains.
Yeah.
To not be good at something that you love so much.
No, you're totally right. Yeah, I
but
think
in
you
the
are
other one,
100% right.
You've never tried to paint. So paint.
Yeah, it didn't mean it didn't
exactly. It
hold...
didn't have like that weight on you.
I think you're
so
totally right.
So you were open to learning it because
I just couldn't bear not being...
It wasn't totally not like hurting you to be bad.
I probably couldn't bear accepting the fact that I just couldn't, that this thing that was my reason for studying there, I was never going to be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do kind of look back and I'm like, I wish I could have been a little more courageous back then to say, you know what? No, I can do this. Like,
yeah, but that brought you to painting.
But that means that I would have never been a painter.
Then if you'd have done that,
I know.
You would say, I would not paint.
Now that I, my life is painting, I will never be able to not understand myself as a painter. Like that doesn't even compute in my brain. The fact that I could separate what I understand myself as an artist and painting. Like they're the same. They're one and the same for me right now. And so no. I'll never ever regret making that choice. But it was such a strange. It's so strange in my life how I just stumbled into it, and how, knowing now how important it is for me. It's so strange how it just came to be.
But maybe because that's how it had to be.
Yeah, probably.
Because maybe if you were super into painting and you went to learn how to paint,
I could have been a comic book artist.
You would be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go to comic because this is
Or I would have been a sculptor or something. Yeah.
So,
Danielira.
So, Kukiro.
I think we're good. I kind of like it. It's very...
I like it a lot.
it has one of the reasons that I enjoy painting on paper. One of the sort of technical reasons that I enjoy painting on paper is the fact that because it is such a in many ways such a coarse. This is not a coarse paper, by the way. It's not like um, textured paper. It doesn't. It's not like it has nothing to do with the percentage of cotton that there is in this particular paper. No, fundamentally, this is probably closer to like some hot pressed paper because it is moleskin paper is somewhat smooth. It's not the smoothest paper I've ever seen. I've seen some incredibly smooth hot pressed paper, but there is a coarseness to it when you attempt to paint with no primer on the paper and no medium with your paint except whatever oil it is there is naturally in your oil paint. And that what that coarseness means is that you have to like painting becomes like this very physical thing that you have to like drag. You have to load your brush and just drag paint across and like plop it on and just kind of move it or scratch the surface. It's very specific how it feels. It does not feel like any other manner of approaching painting for sure. I can attest to this because I think I've painted in very many ways, and I've painted in like in technically adept ways when I decided to take on those approaches. So this feels very different. It's very different. And the one thing that it does also is that when you're dragging paint, and for example, it happens to me either because I'm unsure of how I want my colors to meet or because I do want air between those two. So I'll give an example of those of that specifically. So when this darker vertical sort of column stripe, however you want to call it, this kind of abstract moment in here, that there's like a Rothko-esque quality of it. How the colors don't really just meet each other, like clash with each other sharply, but they're just kind of hovering, and they kind of touch, with in like it's almost like they have like a texture to them. Like there's a surface quality to the stroke, almost like how an animal has like fur, covering its body. It's almost like the stroke has these like little moments that kind of spread out, and then those can kind of barely touch with the other color. I feel it like that. It's what's that called in etching? The burr, if I'm not mistaken, burr, the burr. When you're doing like dry point, I think it's how the plate kind of opens and it has that texture to it, and you have that beautiful kind of velvety. I think could you look at burr? The
¿Cómo se
definition,
escribe?
burr. I think I'm remembering correctly that term. But so I think brushstrokes, like very dry brushstrokes, in the same way that dry point does in etching, creates that kind of spread of that color. And sometimes it's really beautiful when you don't have to have colors just kind of collide with each other or like be one on top of the other, like there are in many. Like for example, that's a perfect example of that. For example, that's a perfect case. I'm sorry, of one color being on top of other colors. What I'm doing with the hand here, that I was hoping that it would look very kind of I mean a very dead, but sargenty in the way that he would like solve quicker hands.
So it says a rough edge
Mm-hmm.
or ridge left of an object,
Mm-hmm.
especially of metal,
Okay,
by the
perfect.
action of a tool or
Yeah,
machine.
perfect.
So
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's exactly, yeah, that's a perfect term for like dry point. That's what gives the burr in the metal plate. It's what gives the line quality that you see in a dry point that is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I think in here the brush strokes, they kind of feel somehow like that. But what that gives you, the ability that provides to you, should you want to use it, is to then say, I don't have to have every color meet, so I can have like these little moments in my painting where the color just stretches over that area but doesn't cover it entirely, and there's this like dryness to it that's beautiful, maybe somewhat akin to a more traditional watercolor. So think Andrew Wyeth, like think that very wet brushstroke that then becomes dry, but it because he stretches it, and then it picks up the texture of the watercolor paper. That's exactly what I find just so beautiful and so attractive about painting on paper. And there are times that I think I use it well. There are other times that I stumble, onto it accidentally, and it just looks really good. And I'd like to believe that I'm keen enough to like observe it and say, oh, I want to keep this. And other times I have something that's beautiful and I overpaint it, and then it's gone because you can't really go back to it. But that's something that I love, and I'll give you like a technical, my technical reasoning for this vertical stripe here, this more abstract piece up there. I really like that. This kind of reminds me of when you're reading, or when you're caught in like this sort of pensive moment. There's always like, I always think that there's a world, like it's a world creation moment. Like your brain is just generating like this universe of things. And I always like when you have space to suggest that sort of universe. This turns into a very abstract sort of creation of that universe that is being evoked by the reading of that book. But I really like it. But it had no reason. There was no reason for it to be sharp. Like I could have just put like tape on this side and just made like a very sharp edge there and a very sharp edge here, and it would have provided that abstract sense of it being sort of like an edge in space, like a break in the plane of space, whatever space is being suggested here. But I didn't want to, because I wanted the space to be so like somewhat more ethereal to the rational space, the sharper rational space that is down here. So I think that that's one of the moments, like leaving those little bits there, that I think that that's successful in the appreciation of the wholeness of the painting. I think that leaving those like that works, because paper and raw paper, and let's call it raw paint in the sense that there's no medium added to it. Raw paper, raw paint, and the brushiness of the application all come together to say the thing that you needed, or the thing that made sense for that instance in your painting. I think that when those things collide with intent, like with the reasoning behind your efforts in trying to say something through painting, then when there's a formal aspect to the construction of your painting that makes sense with what you're trying to say with your painting, then that's when everything about painting makes sense. Every single aspect of painting makes sense. And with that, I'm not saying, hence, this is a perfect painting. No, of course not. But I'm saying, hence, this is a painting. This is a painting that will forever justify itself as a painting. That it will immediately say, I had to be a painting. I was said through paint because it makes sense that I was said through paint. And I know that sounds weird, but that's something that's something that every single painting should say to some degree. Because a painting should never feel like it could have been something else. And I think that that's a very important thing to hold on to, at least the notion of that, in an age where painting is going to be, redefined constantly, because we are in a moment that painting or image making is going to be redefined. But I think for painting to say, fine, I know that the definition of image supersedes me because image is bigger than painting. Painting just makes up a tiny little part. I mean, back 500 years ago, 600 years ago, painting and image could have been one and the same. Nowadays, painting and image, they're not. Image is something enormous. The notion of image is something enormous, but painting is just like a tiny part of that, bigger definition of what image is. But I think for painting to sort of understand itself, it has to also understand what is it something that, only could happen here, here in this space. I'm not saying that this space can't be translated or transmuted into something digital, for example, as we were saying with like these softwares that want to replicate the experience of analogous painting. But I'm saying that this thing that remains, which you could value it as much or as little as you want, it doesn't matter, like, because it can hold, a lot of value, like, I don't know, like the Sistine Chapel or Raft of the Medusa, or it can be a painting that you do for yourself that you don't really care to socialize it, or it doesn't have to be measured against, the greatest of paintings. But irregardless of how you of what you compare it to, for it to understand itself as a painting, it has to make sense. It has to make sense as a painting. And I think that's, I don't know if that's what saves painting. I don't know if that's what survives from the painting in the future. But I think that for us, especially nowadays, there has to be a reflection about, why is this a painting? Why couldn't this be anything else? Why did I choose out of everything? Because think about it this way. Out of all the ways you could have said something, all of them, out of the universe of the spectrum of ways that you could have said, you could have stated something, you could have, began a conversation with, you chose paint. Why? Why did you do that? And the answer has to be your painting. That this thing that you did. That's where the answer is. It can't be talked about. It can't be written about. It has to be painted. So I don't know if that's. I don't think that that's going to be strong enough to survive the redefinition of imaging. But I think that is going to be crucial for painting to be something in the future, to remain as something in the future. I think that's super important. Anyway, that's like a dense look into the future, but you guys know me, and I love to try to speculate about the future. And I think
we like to.
Yeah, I think it's super important.
To you.
I think the best place to speculate about painting's future is from a place that loves painting, not from a place that wants to forget about painting or seize painting or like stop painting from being, or like say, okay, this is old school now, in the future we're not going to need brushes or paints, or we're not going to have conversations about solvents or heavy metals or mediums. Like, that's not going to exist. No, I actually think that the best place to have this conversation from is from a place where you adore painting and you respect painting and you love painting. So I hope that shows through with what we do, that we love this, but we love this so much that we question it. Samu, entra tú. Anyways, I think Danny, we're good. Samu is here from school, Chili's excited.
No, she was sleeping, so she almost had a heart attack.
Yeah,
and she's gonna say,
"Go, Chili, go." So I think we're good, Danny.
Yes. So,
hola, mi Samu.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Yes.
Remember, if you're new, it would be very cool if you would consider subscribing.
Yes.
We have a webpage.
We do.
ourpaintedlives.com.
Where you can find not only this painting, but a painting I did yesterday, which I happen to really like.
Yeah, me too.
It's this colossi woman, that's kind of it's based on like these academic packs that you buy, and I actually buy like a bunch of them to like practice and to remind myself, how much I love the construction of the human body. So it's based on one of those images and taken to like given some sort of small pseudo narrative, like being playful. But I love my one of the images that I love the most in painting are the Gouache colossi. And I just imagine her just like kind of resting there in this emptiness of
And that
space.
blue sky.
Yeah. And by the way, that was painted with the same palette as today. So a 4-color palette, but just showing how awesome it is to isolate form within those constrictions of a very reduced palette. And then what you pointed out yesterday, Danny, how very Renaissance it is to then introduce like a color that's super foreign to those mixes in a spot. Obviously, this spot just fits, in terms of its definition. So
And
there's blue
specifically the
used for a
blue.
sky,
Yeah.
so we can equate it almost like 1-to-1. So that helps you as a painter in the color not feeling too foreign to the rest of the let's say color harmonies that you've already created. But I really like that kind of lying, giant, I don't know, sort of defeated but yearning, but part of the landscape. I don't know. I actually liked yesterday's painting quite a lot. But if you like that painting, if you like this painting, they're always going to be in our webpage.
Yes.
That's how we keep the lights on.
Yes.
That's how we keep
Like
Samu in
literal
school.
lights,
Do it
yeah.
for Samu in school.
Chili's food.
I mean, yeah.
Do it for Chili too. Do
Chili's
it for Fer.
foot.
Foot?
Oh, no.
Food.
Chili's ovaries. So Chili's uterus is going to be extracted only because we paint. So no. So that's how we make a living. And
Yes.
if you want to support us, that would be awesome. We don't really make money from our social media in the sense that we don't have enough views or enough followers for
No.
a channel to be like a big thing, but we love that it's a small thing. We love that we know the people that comment, and we have a sense of like familiarity and closeness to our community. So I actually wouldn't change anything about how quote unquote small we are. But that means that we have to sell paintings to keep doing what we're doing. So
yes.
if you are interested in that, you could go to our paintedlives.com.
Yes.
And you could purchase the paintings, and you could follow. We also have Danny does our reels now, or YouTube shorts. That's pretty cool because they give people another way of knowing what we do, which is a lot of the edited videos that we have on our Painted Lives, which Danny had. Danny worked insanely hard to edit all those hundreds of videos. And it's a lot of people know us from live videos, but they don't know that there's like this wealth of edited videos out there that you can totally take advantage of if you have the time, or if you want some company while you're working and just want to hear us ramble about painting. But you can check that out, and that's about it. So wish us luck. Wish Chili luck for tomorrow. I
Yes.
think everything will be fine.
Yes, she's gonna be
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm going to be making boxes right now to ship some stuff for tomorrow. And
gonna
and I have
do
to
the permits.
yeah, and I have to also go to a gymnastic competition of Fed in the
Tomorrow.
afternoon. So yeah, it's a whole nice day
And
tomorrow.
tomorrow you have to go
What? Where else?
for the shipping.
Yeah, I
You-
have to ship because
Because
you
I have
usually
to
do
go
that, but you're going to
to-
be with Chili.
Yes.
So I have to do shipping, and then I have to rush back here to go to another school to watch Fed,
Yeah.
and then I'll
be
come back
waiting
with
for
Fed.
my chili.
Yeah. She's gonna be awesome. So that's it.
So
Daniel
thank you.
Lira, thank
you
you.
everyone, and thank you Coquito for being here
Sure,
with
of
me
course.
again.
Yeah,
talking with me.
Of course.
I love you.
I love you too.
So bye everyone.
We'll see you Thursday.